Hello, I'm the greatwizardmerlan, and we are here doing some more D&D. So we are on part 9. Yeah, 9. Fuck it out. I can't remember. Yeah, this doesn't mean I can't count.
You normally know the answer to this. What bit are we on?
I don't know, madam. What part do you think we're on?
I think we're on 9.
You are correct.
Hooray! I can count.
No,
I can't believe
you just
we're actually
remember.
going for that many sessions.
It almost doesn't feel like it.
Can go for this 20 sessions.
Oh!
He can't.
That's a joke about his sexual stamina, or lack thereof.
Well, this is how today's session is going to go.
If you're a real man, you hit him now for insulting your sexual prowess.
Yeah, but then, you know, he might destroy my character.
Wow.
It's so character precious. Jeez.
Well, no, it's just like, well, you get into Port Saltwash, you get mugged right in front of everyone.
Okay. Merlin,
Don't give it away.
I would like you to try and recap before I actually recap.
What happened?
Suffer.
Yes, Milan, tell us.
What was the first thing that happened? I've got things out of order. Let's see. We got ambushed by wolves.
No, you're missing something.
Dire wolves.
Macario tried to kill us.
She did. Oh yes, with the cooking.
Okay, so we started to decided we were going to stop and we were going to rest. There were some badgers
Badges.
for our short rest.
Oh yeah, because that wasn't actually a fight in the end.
No, there was some intimidation trying
I
and
got
not
bitten
happening.
though, the little fuckers.
Yeah, bitten too.
Then we came down the road and we found discarded ration packs and then a very nice jacket which Hoff now has. Then we got attacked by the wolves. Yeah.
Get it right.
They nearly fucked us.
Yeah, I mean they even hurt Gown. I mean
Yeah.
I don't know. The problem is with my notes is I've got Carson is unconscious. The tentacle rod is now wed.
Yeah.
Hoff goes hentai on the furry.
Yeah, I rang out like a sponge.
Yeah. Then I healed you. Then we had terrifying furry lion Cass. And then Gal was awesome and beat the shit out of a wolf with skills that we do not possess.
Nope.
That you will never.
I have Carson monkey shimmies away and into combat. That was
Oh yeah, I remember because I was underneath you after you weared out.
Yeah. Then we had a wolf got strangled to death by the tentacles. Cass and her bloodlust ripping out jugulars. Critical damage with the tentacle rod. Then we killed the wolves. And then I have lots of... We're not going to talk about furries. This is a delicate subject. Then we had another short rest. And then we said, Carson is a virgin. We're going to get him a home.
Oh
yeah.
Most likely it's going to be a monster girlfriend.
We virgin shamed Carson.
Yeah, I've got... Then I tried to cook dinner. 0 out of 10 for effort. And then I've got, if I had to make a sandwich in the middle of a war zone, I could with my cooking stat. That's what
Oh yes, I remember that now.
So the Carson cooked far better than me. I'm a bit upset. Then I have in brackets D's nuts.
These nuts.
And then we got to salt port wash.
Salt wash.
That's the one.
Port wash?
Yes, I was quite tired by the end of the session writing.
It's one of the hookers.
It's Noel Graham the Fourth. We need to find Captain Everett on the Ocean Spear. The Harbour Master for record. Guild House. Night equals bad. And that's what I have for the last session.
Nighttime bad. Bad
Yeah.
nighttime.
Yeah. There you go. If I had to make a sandwich in the middle of a war zone, I could. That's my quote from last week.
Oh yeah, someone sent me a great homebrewed character from someone on the internet, which I want to make a real thing. It's 3 halflings in a trench coat. It's both a race and a class. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen that. It's brilliant.
If you suddenly turn into 3 halflings in a trench coat, I'm sure we'll notice.
And no, I'd only be 1 halfling in a trench coat.
Yeah, you get in the trench coat.
Because I'm smaller than half.
So, as was succinctly summed up, they had a long and semi-perilous journey along to Port Saltwash, for a salt port wash. That's just what they call it when they bleach your arsehole.
I knew it.
Oh.
Mostly Carson's.
Because that's a port to get washed.
Don't want to know.
He's immaculate arsehole.
So the group got up and started heading into the port. And even from getting up and starting to head in, you can smell the unmistakable smell of the ocean. You can smell
And a medieval city.
salt. Yeah. You can smell the salt on the air. And the closer you get, the more you start to smell other things. Fish is a fairly prevalent smell, but there is also the smell of various types of rot.
Effluent.
Affluent effluence.
Ooh, affluent effluence.
And as you get closer, you start to see the fairly well put together, but if somewhat ramshackle, wooden stone type buildings of a port town. As you're getting closer, you're sort of seeing people wandering around the edges. There's a few people who have smaller houses around the edge, a little bit of washing out on lines, and a couple of bits of livestock. Not huge amounts, but probably enough to get by on. A couple of guards placed around the edge here and there, and fairly busy air. It's very noisy. Already, you can already hear the hustle and bustle of things going on in a typical port town, rich of people.
Cute.
So we were heading to the guild house first.
I don't know. The problem is multiple people said that they wanted to go multiple places. We didn't actually decide where we're going this group.
Well, I think
Well, we were going to the
Guild House
first because we're
can lock all our
the-
stuff there.
mercenaries and we're guarding the caravans. We need to take the caravans where they need to go.
Yeah, well, it'd be easy for me to pretend to be.
And then from there, we were going to go find the ship captain.
Okay.
Being as it's potentially going to take a bit more time to prepare, at least as far as we're aware.
Oi, and just remember, you don't need to hide your weapons. In fact, remember to keep them on show. People are less likely to try and mug you.
Why is everyone...
You have us.
Okay.
But I am
I
technically
have a weapon. I start searching through my things and pull out a very small dagger. like pissy small. Hang on, there you go. Yeah.
Is that a letter opener?
Just stand next to me, dear.
Just look mysterious.
I'm bigger than that is.
I don't.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Maybe
you
put
wish
your
you
hood.
were.
Maybe put your hood up, and so people
Oh,
can't see
take
your
that as
face.
you will.
People might be intimidated by that.
Okay, put up my hood right, and you can see my horns and my things.
So, nah. Actually, yeah. Do you think that'll work?
Actually, that looks pretty damn menacing.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with that.
Yeah. See, still thinking about you.
Why were you thinking about me in the first place?
Why would you say it like that?
How was I meant to say it?
I don't know.
Less creepy?
You may be a good cook, but you're a fucking creep.
Hooray! Let's go to the guild house.
I put my hood up, my mask on.
Okay.
I'm gonna be sitting on my dog cart, crossbow across my lap.
So as you start to get up to sort of the main, what looks like thoroughfare into Port Saltwash itself, there's a couple of guards, as I said, posted around. There's a couple sort of either side of the main sort of thoroughfare, almost just keeping an eye out for anything. They barely give you a second look, even with an obvious tiefling in your group. They barely bat an eyelid.
Just more people passing through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As we're going
Smile and wave,
through.
boys. Smile and wave.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on anyone who's getting too suspiciously close. If you know what I mean.
It's a very busy place. Suspiciously close could be, someone is walking down the road. There are lots of people. People are going to get close.
Walking down the road, that's a shanking.
As you've gotten to the edge, there was sort of a trickle of people and a few people odd here and there. Some people stood around chatting, a few others doing a few bits, moving from here to there. As you're going slightly further into Saltwash, the crowd of people is substantially bigger than it was. It's nothing compared to what the crowds were like in Obsidia, but there's still quite a lot of people, and they do actually end up walking quite close past the caravan, mainly because there's not a lot of other places to go. There's a few people that scurry off down alleyways and behind buildings and things. Looking around, you see the odd people, shady people in an alleyway. It's probably some kind of backhanded deal. There's people there, fresh fish! All sorts of stuff going on all over the place.
Less than fresh fish.
Yeah.
Almost fresh fish.
Shit fish!
As an interesting point, there are a couple of people around who are specifically selling rotten fish, but it's not for the purpose of eating. It's more for the purpose of things like fertilising or for just generally keeping stuff away because of the smell.
Roasted fish, put it in your friend's house if you hate them.
Fish guts, get your fish guts.
And there's a fairly interesting set of trades. There's a couple of vendors with a few sort of bottles and things, already Barefoot's starting to steer the caravan train in a particular direction. It looks like he knows where he's going, and at this point it seems just easy enough to just make sure that you stick course with him to get yourself to the guild house. As you're turning down one of the main side thoroughfares, there's a guy who sort of runs across the front of the caravan, and he's got something in his arm, and he's sort of looking back almost anxiously as a guard very quickly runs back going, "Stop him! Stop him!" A guard on the other end of the side thoroughfare turns around, pulls out a crossbow and shoots him. The crossbow goes straight through his throat, and the person falls dead on the floor.
Well then.
Barefoot sort of turns to you and says, "Oh, just ignore it. It's nothing weird." As you're going past, you can sort of hear one of the guards saying, "Bloody thieves!" The guard who shot him with the crossbow, already reloading his crossbow, sort of walking up and saying, "Another one to dump." So you go past, sort of as they're sort of picking up the body and starting to drag him off.
Well, I certainly don't want to stay around here too much longer than I need to.
Maybe we need to get a copy of the laws here.
Well, thieving apparently is not one to do.
Well, apparently you get killed on sight.
I think it's just because you ran.
So after the sort of mostly out of
He
earshot
wouldn't have
of the
got killed
guards.
if he just surrendered to the guards.
Yeah, mostly after you get out of earshot of the guards, Barefoot sort of pipes up again. Boys, like I told you, don't go doing nothing illegal. They don't have the time to interrogate and find out the who's, why fors, and where tos. They'll just shoot on sight.
Shoot first, questions later.
Like,
That's going to be very inconvenient if we get pegged for a crime or we're doing something that may look like we're doing something.
I just have to hope I'm a faster shot.
Well, that means you get killed then for shooting a guard. So even if you were innocent
Not
in the
if
first
we
place,
did
you'd
it
then
in self-defence.
Not if I
But
shoot
you
the
just said
crossbow.
here, anything you do even vaguely illegal, you get killed. No one interrogates you, so we won't even have self-defence as a main.
if you're doing something clearly in self-defence, make sure you do it with the guards around. And if the guards do come after you, don't raise a weapon. They're less likely to just shoot you if you don't do anything. Like he actually said, because they ran. Because they ran, they're not gonna waste time.
In some places they say an innocent man doesn't run.
So it seems to be a marathon runner around here then.
I don't know. This sounds very confusing.
The law often is.
Yeah, that's why I want to get a copy of it, just so I don't do something wrong by accident.
Yeah. We need to go to the harbour office. Maybe we can get something there.
Okay.
It's an idea.
Perfect.
Wait. You shouldn't have to worry too much. We're at the guild house now, so once we've got everything stored away in one of the guild warehouses, he sort of nods to one of the guards around the guild house, and you can see that they're wearing a clearly different uniform to that of the Port Saltwash guards. The Port Saltwash guards. The Port Saltwash guards have something of a sort of a red almost scarf that trails down one side, with kind of silver scaled armour.
How did I know that's what you were going to say?
Whereas the guild guards actually have sets of full plate or plated silver armour of various kinds, and it looks much more regimented and official, and it looks clearly guild paid for.
I've always said that private sector does better than public.
You can see that there are a few sort of guards stationed at various intervals around what's clearly the guild section of the port. And you have the feeling crime probably isn't going to happen. Yeah, people aren't going to steal too much here.
I give a casual salute.
So Barefoot gives a curt nod to one of the ones as it's coming up. The guard sort of gives him a right. Steps aside. Looks like he recognises who Barefoot is, and lets him pass. As the caravan sort of goes forward, they go behind what looks like the main guild sort of house of the port, and there's several sort of guild warehouses of a sort behind it. And he starts pulling the caravans into them for the time being. And says here, right, you lot. Now that we're here, we should be pretty safe. If you guys want to go off and find anything, maybe explore, takes your fancy. Again, shouldn't let that interesting introduction to the city. Shouldn't let you put it off too much. It's not too bad, provided you don't do anything illegal. Otherwise, you'll have a fairly nice time of it. Lots of trading going on.
Now to find somewhere to buy some bullets.
If you're looking for if you're going to start with the harbour master, you'd want to go back to the main thoroughfare and just carry on down. Biggest building, great big green thing, can't miss it.
Green building.
Great
Okay.
big green thing. Why do I swear I've heard that being said in the bar before?
Okay. Right, I'm going to sort of stable my dog.
Okay.
And cast.
There's space in
Yep.
here for it all. So.
And do I take the rod? Do I take the rod? Do I not take the rod? Do I take the rod? Do I not take the rod?
Take the goddamn rod.
Okay, yeah. The rod will live on a on a sort of bag on my back,
Sure.
and yeah, along with my crossbow across the other way.
I was about to say, why don't you use it as a belt?
Because there's three of them, and there's a stick off one end.
I actually like that idea.
Wrap it round and yeah, then you just go yeah with the
Clock.
Just make sure you use an actual bell as well, where every time you go to pull it out, your pants are going to come down. It's going to look like you're about to do something real fucking weird.
Oi, no one wants to see a gnome penis in the middle of a battle.
Especially when that gnome's holding 3 tentacles.
When does one want to see a gnome penis then?
If you ask him nicely.
I mean, it depends on how much you love the gnome. I don't love him that much.
I bet we discussed just yesterday that love does not come as a requisite for such things.
No.
Okay,
course.
but I guess
It's often involved.
I guess it depends how much you lust him after it then.
Makes more sense. So, gnome penis.
Oh Christ.
What?
What?
I'm just making notes.
No one wants to see a gnome penis in a fight.
Unless it's a decent distraction.
Woo!
Hey, let me have a distraction.
It's
What I was thinking of
like a
is,
MacGruber with his
is that
distraction.
going, okay, I'm gonna aid Carson. I'm
Just
making a
stick sorry
distraction.
up
What
his
are you
ass
doing?
and
With
just
Millie?
I'm just gonna whack my dick out.
Yeah.
So, anyone else doing anything particular before you start heading?
If I happen to see anywhere to buy bullets on the way, I'll dip in there, but if not, no.
Okay. You haven't actually left the guild warehouse yet, so.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying on the way.
No, not doing anything. Let's head off.
Yeah, no. At the moment, get to the harbour office, and then we'll see what what we're doing afterwards. At least in my case.
Okay. So.
We've never actually specified. Are we going on foot or by horse?
So, be easier around town, I think.
Also easier to blend in.
Horses would probably draw a fair amount of attention too.
That was out of character.
Oh.
But yeah, no, I'd suggest foot because it means we blend in a bit easier.
Yeah, I'm very inconspicuous in a crowd.
Yeah, I'm very inconspicuous. No, I'm not.
I'm inconspicuous.
There you are.
You're shorter than the average height of the crowd.
No, behind it.
Even with my hat.
Let's go. Yeah, going off an adventure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll start heading back down the main thoroughfare. Well, the side main thoroughfare. As you start heading off, one of the guards, the one who sort of nodded to Barefoot, says, "Oh, just if I'm not here when you get back, just let them know that you were barefoot. They'll let you back in. Don't worry.
Okay.
Sure.
And it sort of doesn't impose on you any sort of further than that. So you guys carry on, and as you're sort of walking along, you've noticed that now that there's not a massive caravan train sort of coming through, people have started walking across the main thoroughfare again. And now that you're sort of looking around a bit more at different people, at different stalls, you can see that there's a fairly good mix of different races. There's a fair few half-orcs, half-elves and humans. It looks like sort of a good place to make a bit of coin, whether honest or dishonest. But you see sort of a couple of tieflings here and there. You see a couple of full orcs. You see 2 Azamars. Not the most commonplace sight, but again, it looks like they're sort of almost known enough that people largely ignore them. Sort of one sat next to a cart of various goods, the other one actually sort of up and selling them. As you sort of head down the main thoroughfare, it starts to take a bit of a decline downwards, and as it does, you sort of get a better view of the harbour, and you can see several fairly large ships berthed at different points around the harbour, as well as several smaller ships around. And as you start heading down, you very quickly see the big green building. There's a few more guards stationed around this. Their armour looks a bit cleaner than most of the other guards you've seen around. A little bit more official. They're a bit more what looks like regimented. Whether that's part of the duty of being specifically on the harbour master duty, or whether it's just these ones happen to be the better guards, which is why they get into duty, you don't know. But you get further down, you do actually spot what looks like a smithy who has a couple of guns, sort of up on his on the side of his stall. Someone there watching, sort of with a fairly large-looking greatsword on his back, just to deter people. From doing anything stupid, and it does have some bits and pieces for both crafting ammo and buying.
Okay, sure.
We'll wait.
Okay. I'll head over to Smith.
Okay. So the big guy with the greatsword, he is a fairly large-looking orc. Sort of watches you as you walk up and gives a bit of a as he comes up, and there's a half orc sort of just inside the door of the building, which this sort of stall is in front of. And he sort of turns around as he hears the orc grunt, says, "Ah, customer, what you be wanting today?"
I pull out one of my unloaded bullets. Looking for something about this size. Try and make them fairly standard, but I think I went a little skew.
Sort of leans over, takes it, has a look around. Sort of holds his finger up to it, almost as using his finger as a measurement of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few. How many are you looking for?
How many you got?
Well, I've got about 200 about that size, with powder to go with it.
How much do those go for?
You want a second?
God, you knew this was happening. Why didn't you prep?
Fuck you, right?
How much those goes for? More than you're worth.
More than your mum.
More than Carson. Oh.
That's not hard. Wait, no, damn! The trap.
No, I hope it's not hard.
A lot of people would pay for your kind of blood.
So they'll set you back 2 gold a shot.
$2 a shot, dang.
You've got one. You know they're not cheap.
Yeah, that's true.
I can give you materials
Have you got anything to
at
trade?
half price.
Do I have anything to trade with him?
Not really.
Sweeten the deal.
No.
Material for the worth of crafting a shot is obviously worth about a single gold per shot. That'll be obviously enough powder to get you going, enough metal.
Can you do my friend some sort of bulk discount?
Roll me a persuasion.
Offering last week's socks.
Let me get my dice out so I can close your roll.
No.
No, that's
What
not how
if
we
we
want it to
fail?
work. We just want to win.
D&D is not about winning.
11.
Okay, give me just 2 seconds. Because I forgot to get my dice out beforehand. So
God, why didn't you prep?
I'm being a really bad DM today.
No. I've got 0
Get
charisma.
some dice.
Dude,
Ah.
Jesus.
I mean, business has been a little bit slow of late, so I'm sure I can do a little something.
Ooh.
So, he sort of gathers together a few of the bits and pieces. Look, right, if you're willing to put down 100 gold, I can give you enough material to make yourself 100 rounds, and I'll give you an extra 10 rounds worth of material on top.
That's a little out of my price range right now, but on the return that could be possible.
So I mean, that's more than I have.
Yeah.
I can loan you some, but not that much.
I mean, for now, can I take? Will you do 10 shots worth for 8 gold, and then I'll make sure I have a much bigger order next time.
1 second. 1 second, good sir. Step outside with us. Right, we all step outside, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you haven't actually gone in. So his stall is just outside his shop. He was in the doorway. He stepped out to the stall.
Okay, well, we
So you are outside.
We step away,
Step
Yeah,
away.
so just step away.
We do have group funds, and this is an investment we can look into, especially for everyone.
We could all put in a few gold each.
I know
Well,
we
our
have
interests.
got our
we've
group
got group
funds.
funds, so we
How
can
much do we have in total?
489 gold. So we
That's a
can use,
reasonable amount of money.
so we can
Do
give
the
it-
100.
We can do the 100, and then you just put it back when you've got it.
You sure?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the point of group funds.
You'll have plenty of time on the ship to make the ammo.
Good
And
point.
as we said, we are a company.
And I'm sure we'll be glad for fire support.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
We step back.
I pull out a pouch.
Okay.
And,
Yes, so how about this?
It's 100 gold.
1 moment.
So he takes a pouch, gives it a bit of a jingle. Yep. So it looks like he's largely trusting you on that one. And he hands you 110 shots worth of material and the powder sort of in a smallish keg to go with it. Even sort of casting a brief glance over it, it is enough for that sort of thing, provided you don't seriously fuck up crafting. So yeah, well, pleasure doing business. And if you do want to come back and you are going to drop some gold like you say you are, I can't do much better than that at the moment. Otherwise, I'm going to bankroll myself. But if you are able to drop some more gold on your way back, I'll look at doing you another bulk buy.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the help.
He sort of casts his hand over and gives you a shake.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're ruining my immersion.
Enjoy that.
That's right. That's fine.
He sort of looks over to his big orc guard, nods to him, and then heads back to the doorway to continue doing whatever he's doing. And so you are 100 gold lighter, but 110 shots worth of material heavier.
Yeah.
Nod to the guard on the way past.
He gives you a, as well, much in the same way as he did when he walked up, and doesn't even really turn his head.
Mm-hmm.
May not be blessed with an overabundance of brains necessarily, but looks like he's clever enough to know when someone's stealing, for example. So, carrying on a little bit further down, there's a couple of other sort of vendors you see. There's a couple of bottles of alcohol on some of them have weapons, some of them have what look like potion bottles. There's an odds and ends one that has various trinkets, a couple of odd things, a couple of scrolls, books, different things.
Ellen goes that still.
Yeah, I'm walking over to the alcohol.
I could just see it now. Just like, no, ignore. I was like, oh no.
Okay, so
Wait, there's booze?
So at the
That's where I am.
trinkets, at the trinkets stall, there is a half elf.
I thought you went to the bookstore.
The trinket store
Yeah,
had books on
there's
it.
books and things on it because it doesn't look like anywhere here
Has
that you can
book
see
section,
is
right.
books specifically. So there's a sort of middle-aged-ish looking half elf sort of there, and he sort of looks up and gives a bit of a nod. His long black hair sort of falling around his face. Hi, what can I do for you?
Did anyone come up with me? 'Cause you went.
You sort of ran off to it, and everyone else was sort of back into in the middle of the road. You sort of ran off
You
to
went
the
to the
side.
alcohol store, didn't you?
Yeah.
I started heading to the alcohol stall and you ran off to the books, and I was like,
As they do,
how did this thing go back?
Gareth, who happened to be walking with you guys, just sort of behind you all, sort of leans in and says to you, I apologise, I have a few errands that I need to take care of, so I'm going to go and take care of them. I'll probably meet you back at the guild house a little bit later.
No, of course, I understand.
So it gives you a light bow and then walks off into the crowd.
What a guy.
What a guy.
So with that's happened, and then I turn around, you're gone.
Well, no,
You're
you
gone.
can see them, but like she's
Well,
gone
you-
off to
but
the
you know, but you know what I mean, like
Right,
where
so
we
we were
were.
walking like this, and then I saw alcohol, and then
But yeah, that's what I mean. You've gone off to that. You've gone off to the stall.
He's come to the alcohol as well.
You've gone to the alcohol. What
So
about
it's
you,
just
Hoff?
you two left standing there.
Yes, I'm.
So yeah,
I'm mysteriously
Really much
browsing.
more, really much is good for me. Because all the
so
top
gives
range
you a
weapons are
quizzical
heavy.
look.
I want to have a look at what you bought.
I might have a look at the trinkets.
I got told to look mysterious, but I want to browse your wares, so I'm mysteriously browsing.
A dawn of comprehension comes over his face. He goes, "You're not from around here, are you?" Just
You
no,
ain't from
that's-
round
sorry,
these parts.
Just a little tip.
Yeah.
Don't tell people that you've been told to look mysterious.
Okay.
Because people are more likely to see that you're not from around here and they'll consider you an easy target. He sort of looks over at the gunslinger and blood hunter and says, now take them for example. Now they're a fairly good example. One of them face completely covered, stoic, can't even tell what's under there. The other one, confident, nice big, shooter at his side. Those two aren't going to get picked on. Think a little bit more like that.
No, the other one's on the other hand.
Think of it like think of it like a rogue going, I am sneaking.
Wait, I'm just imagining this happening now, and then a wave of people suddenly just kind of goes.
Unless
The
she's an
fuck
energy
is
vampire
going on?
and she's feeding on all the pity.
So
You
I
are
see
walking
she's starting to
over
cry.
there now.
Oh yeah, no, I already started to walk over at this point.
Now, I'd probably suggest not crying like that, because you're probably more likely to get picked on. Honestly,
I can't do anything right.
Can I hear this?
yeah.
I'm pretty sure we hear this.
Back in a minute.
Same.
I walk over, put my hand on your shoulder, pull down the mask. What's wrong, dear? Right.
Do you guys want a bit of context here?
Do any of you guys
This is
speak
him
dolphin?
talking.
Yeah, I'm like, I understand crying
So-
woman.
She came over, asked me to have a look, and she told me that she was mysteriously browsing, which I was a bit confused.
Oh.
She then told me that she was told to look mysterious, at which point I realised she's not from around here, and suggested she probably doesn't want to tell people she's been told to look mysterious, because it kind of makes her a target.
Mm-hmm.
Then I suggested, as a matter of fact, looking like you two, because you two seem fairly confident and people probably aren't going to pick on either of you. She then started hysterically crying at my stall.
I just want to look at the books.
Look at your books.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Distract yourself with the books.
Okay.
Calm down.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right. Think of this man, that he wasn't being mean, he was teaching you a life lesson. You like being in class and learning, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. That was a life lesson that you've been taught.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go buy booze now, alright?
Mummy's going to go get wasted.
And so is Dad.
I start looking up.
Mummy's going to go get her dizzy water.
Yeah, so he sort of gives you a
actually
nod,
inspired, right?
almost exasperated look. His look almost gives a look of this is going to be more hassle than it's worth. So the books you find are fairly largely uninteresting. They're fairly common books that you'd find in almost any library. There's there's a fairly standard common dictionary. There's a couple of your typical children's books that you see in most places. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like a particularly splendiferous selection of books.
Splendiferous?
I thought I would
Scroll-
We don't like birds that are too big around these parts.
The scrolls look a bit sort of weathered, and there's a couple of other interesting things, but the books largely are very rare.
Okay, I cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
Is anything on this store magical or nearby me in a... I gotta get my range. It says range self.
Give me 1 second.
Sorry, 30 foot around me.
Losing the crossbow.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Within
yeah,
30
you
feet of
cast
you.
it upon yourself,
Blue
and you get
and get
presence of magic at 30 foot.
That's
So
right, yeah.
it takes a moment to cast, and he sort of sees you casting,
Actually, no, we might not lose the crossbow.
and sort of gives you a look for a moment, and then after you finish casting, it looks like he sort of kind of recognises what you're doing, and you get the scrolls that are on his stool are magical, and there's 3 of them. The next stall over that looks like they have potion bottles. About half of the potion bottles are magical. The other half are mundane. And at the alcohol stall next to this one, which is where they are, 3 of the bottles are magical.
Okay. I compose myself. I looked at the books and going, I said, are the scrolls of which certain spells?
As a matter of fact, they're all scrolls of disguise.
Okay, thank you.
Apologies if that's not what you're looking for. Unfortunately, business has been a little bit slow recently.
I already have that, so thank you anyway. Okay, I go and have a look at the potions. Wait, no, I'm gonna go come under the before you do the
You're
alcohol.
going to wander over to me at the
But
alcohol.
you're already there,
stand,
so
but-
I'll wait a second.
Okay,
to
we
do
both
that.
are.
So you sort of wandered over, said hi, and then wandered over to the trinkets, and the female half orc that's at this stall says, "All right. So, what takes your fancy?" Sort of fair selection of alcohol in front.
Yeah, so I'm browsing like week. Oh, that's very strong. Week. Oh, that's quite strong.
It's not to say about how strong. You may just want a some sort of sipping spirit to take the edge off the sea journey.
Weak.
You can see that a lot of the alcohols here are very good ones. Whether they're strong or weak, a lot of them are known sort of good brands. From what you know of the amount you've been drinking, a lot of these are actually good to be mixed together to give different flavours and potencies once they've been mixed. 3 of the bottles you don't immediately recognise.
I'm going to pick up one of those, just one of the 3, and be like,
Okay, so there's what languages do you have?
Common, Celestial, and Elven.
Okay, so you don't recognise the fairly sort of strictly lined runes that are on the bottle.
Can I help?
What language do you have?
Gnomish and Dwarfish.
You can read it. It is in Dwarvish. So as you're sort of coming
I was
over,
looking over and I'm like, you're like, can I help?
Dwarvish muck. I'd be careful.
so she says to you, so that is Dwarven Fire Whiskey. Now this is an old one actually. This is one of their better vintages from after the schism. Once the dwarves held up in their new city, I can never remember what it's called. Some of the fire whiskies that they made were pretty exceptional things. This one in particular has some magic in it. The magic is designed to take away the afterkick to make it a smoother drink.
So pick up the next one.
Boo.
Okay, so the next one you don't recognise. Again, it's in a language you don't understand. It's in Gnomish. So this one you can also read.
What is this?
So this is Gnomish sipping wine.
Probably not strong enough for you, but the vintage looks good.
Again, from what you know, there's magic again infused with this particular alcohol, which extends the taste on your tongue, so it almost dances with flavour.
How much for this one, shopkeep?
That one, it's a fairly recent vintage, so that one's only 10 gold.
10 gold. I can consider it.
Third one.
I'm going to say to her, maybe we can get a deal if we buy some more.
Okay, what language did you say you had? Sorry, it was Celestial.
Common, Celestial, and Elven.
Okay, so this one you can't read either. This one has some interesting, flowing and yet sharp script. It is not Dwarven, Gnomish, or Common.
If I had to guess, I'd probably say it's Elvish.
It's
No,
not Elvish.
it's not.
But
I
know
understand
it's
Elvish.
close.
Tell me, I'm taking. I don't know when I'm nearby. So.
No, yeah, 'cause I was heading over to the trinket stall when you left. So I'm looking at the trinket stall.
I'm waiting.
Oh yeah, I know Elvish.
So I'll just sort of
Could we
showing
spend
it to
some time?
people. She sort of says to you, it's draconic brandy.
I
Oh,
am draconic.
holy crap.
That again is infused with some magic, which essentially just increases how alcoholic it is.
How much?
That'll set you back 25. That's fairly hard to get.
Yes. Oh, 25.
Okay.
What if we bought all 3 of them magical ales?
That's a whiskey.
Well, the fire whiskey is a 35. As I said, it's an older vintage, but not the most popular. People see Dwarven script and they're not the biggest fans, but it's very good alcohol, and all the connoisseurs say so. That's 35. That's 25, and
The Gnomish wine was 10. Or maybe
Five,
if you can't give a discount, maybe you can throw in something else.
okay. So because there's a couple of you giving it a go, roll persuasion advantage.
Woo!
So, how much would it be in total for all 3?
So 70 would be the actual price of them at the moment.
17. Okay. I have 9.
13.
You're already drunk.
No, 9 gold. That's all I have.
Oh, I thought it was your persuasion roll.
20.
9.
Ooh.
17.
Okay. So what did you say, Autumn?
13.
Okay. So she sort of says to you, well, business has been good recently, so I'm not as worried. I can probably do 60 the lot, so you'll get yourself the Gnomish wine free.
I'll put the gold
Yeah. You're just saying, I'm getting the biggest
Yeah.
benefit
And
out
my
of this.
brother's like, have we got enough?
So how many gold? So I'll put
9.
in 8. I'll put in 9. Okay.
I've got 9.
Oh, so you got 9. Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay, we put in. Okay, how much altogether? Sorry. Is it
60
60.
after the haggling.
Okay, I'll put in. Okay, I can put in. I'll pay full whack for the Gnomish wine. I'll pay the 10.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna get the rest from.
Macaria!
I'm walking over, right?
Yeah. So at this point, you're sort of wandering over after
We have a
looking
long
through the
journey.
books
We
a bit.
need to be lit the whole time.
Yeah. 3 of those are magical.
Yeah, we're buying them. Can we have 60 gold?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
Well, that's,
I give Cassandra 60 gold.
right, and I'll give. And I'll. Oh yeah. And
No,
then-
it is
yeah.
60 for all of it. It's coming from
Yeah,
Gookie.
so she
Very
takes it and
kitty.
she
Thank you.
sort of is it a stack or is it a small pouch with gold?
Patch with 60 in, yeah.
Okay, so she pours it out and she sort
Coin
of
purse.
quickly counts it. It's like, okay,
My coin purse is made.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
My coin purse is made out of the coin
come
purse.
back
of
through
an
next
ogre.
time you're around. I may well have some other interesting
Woohoo!
vintages.
Put it in
As
my
I
bag.
open.
Oh, not now.
Oh.
Save for it.
Okay, I pull out a
When
log,
it detests.
like, okay,
Same.
noted.
I am looking for something
Roll me
particular.
a con save.
Yeah, I am looking for something, not a con save.
No, I'm not looking for a con save.
19.
You're already drunk.
Oh
Even
my.
From a sip.
This is some
with-
good
it's
stuff.
magically enchanted to be stronger.
Oh,
Yeah, as I start giggling, I'm like, this is some good stuff.
think I might.
I still have detect magic running. Do any of them look any differently with detect magic running or anything magical on them? Because I've not looked at them with it running before.
Not particularly. You can see sort of the faint aura on Hoff that suggests that he has some command of magic. You can see a faint aura on him, suggesting that he has some kind of interesting something. Less so on those two, despite them having other abilities. They don't seem to be as magically inclined.
Okay. We put the magical thing. Let's look for other magical things.
Yeah. So there's obviously the potions that are. You can see the magical aura on his axe.
Oh yeah, the axe.
You guys have anything else?
Rod.
On the rod. The obvious magical rod.
Otherwise, the rest of my stuff is mundane.
Okay.
Yeah, the odd person walking past here and there, you can see the odd sort of magical aura of what's probably a caster, or the odd enchantment on a weapon.
What I'd love is if she just sees an aura and then it's just like, oh, you're pregnant with a mage. And then the husband barbarian just goes,
A mage,
what?
mage isn't a blood. Yeah, but, no, but I don't think. I think the
Sorcerer.
yeah, sorcerer would be yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's obviously the potion stand that you saw as well, that full half the bottles are magic.
I will head that way, but I know that Carlton's going to the trinket store.
Right. So I'm having a look at the trinkets.
Okay.
I'm just walking along next
I'm
to you.
gonna keep an eye out for something that's gonna make me think of Port Saltwash when I see it.
A dead fish.
Oh, like a snow globe.
Yeah. Well, yes, something small. Obviously not,
or a
not that
rubber,
big.
or a pin, or a little brooch. I would put I hearts.
There's a couple of rings that look like they may have been carved out of driftwood. That looks like they'll probably splint to something chronic.
Oh no, we'll get my flagon that says W anchor.
There is a couple of stone carved anchors there. There are a couple of wood carved necklace anchors. There's a couple of slightly more intricately carved mini ships wheels. Again, sort of on necklace chains and things.
Hey Carson, this button would be perfect. I went to Port Saltwash and got a tetanus needle of shit.
Yeah, it's like, well, at least I got something.
It wasn't laid now, was it?
I mean, no joke, there are actually a couple of pieces of driftwood by the side of the stall as well. They don't look like they're for sale, but there are actually a couple of pieces of obvious driftwood.
Have you got the
I'm gonna.
I got the bio whiskey.
I'm gonna go for one of the anchor necklaces. And so go for one of those. So excuse me, how much for one of these?
5 copper.
Perfect. There you go, I'll have one.
Do you just hand him copper, or do you hand him something bigger?
Actually, no, I will hand him 5 copper because I have 8.
Okay. Fine. So yeah, he takes that as fine, and he sort of hands you the sort of one that you were eyeing up. It's a trinket. It's nothing big.
Yeah, and then and it's just like, I'm not actually gonna wear it. I'm gonna attach it to my bag.
Okay.
So it's like, I find
Are
a
you
nice place.
collecting badges from everywhere you go?
Yeah, I figured now would be the time to start.
What a
you know.
talk.
There's no Pokemon League here.
Damn, where's the gym? Yeah, but otherwise I'm just gonna have a browse, see if anything intriguing catches my eye as I go along the stalls. Because other than the potions, and the alcohol, if I have a glance around, is there any other stalls that might look a little bit out of the ordinary?
Not out of the ordinary, no. Most
Ordinary,
of them are fairly,
very ordinary.
yeah, most
so it's
of them
all
are fairly
ordinary.
ordinary type things. You think probably a lot of the more interesting stuff will be nearer the guild house area, or possibly even at the guild house, or any possibly guild run stalls maybe for interesting or exotic things. There's a couple of weapon stalls with various weapons on them, but
Again, it's nothing
Nothing
special.
nothing
I'm
screams
for
at
my
you.
I'm going to see if I can try and find.
That thing
a
again.
Let's go around looking for a gnomish war hat. Those are throwing rings which you take off and throw. That is a real thing.
That is amazing. I love
Are you
it.
genuinely looking for a gnomish war hat then?
I can't see why not.
Okay. Roll me investigate at disadvantage.
Yeah, so I'm walking alongside
Oh,
you as you're
Yeah.
perusing, and I'm like,
No, 3. No.
No, unfortunately, something quite so exotic. Probably not going to find it in the easier parts.
I just saw that. I thought that looks like something a known fighter would wear.
Amazing.
So, and then you're wanting to go across the potion store.
Yes. Okay, I look at the potion store. Which one's magical? And then
Okay.
what are the other ones that are worth looking at?
So each one is very clearly labelled.
Okay.
So the magical ones, there are a couple of potions of resistance to various types. There's some healing stuff. There's a potion of frost giant strength.
Okay.
I'm stood next to her, just like.
Okay.
Just don't take another sip; you might fall unconscious.
Next, when you come up, you see next to the stall, sort of sat down at the edge, there's another fairly big orc guard at this one.
Mhm.
Sort of looks across at you, gives you a short nod. Doesn't actually say anything or make any grunts, but
Okay, I imitate him and I'm like,
doesn't pay much attention other than that.
and then I look pleased with myself that I did the right thing. What kind of potion? So, the healing isn't magical.
No, they are. So the healing ones are magical.
How much are they?
So strength of potion actually changes price. At the moment, you've got the smallest healing potions are currently 50 gold per.
Mm-hmm.
The greater, there's 3 of those. They are currently at 500 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
There is one superior, which is 6 grand.
Okay. The common healing, how much healing do they do? Common.
Those are the 2d4 plus 2.
Superior, 6 grand. It's like, yeah, it's a lot of money's worth
I'm
selling
gonna
that stool.
buy 2 common healing potions because we used some recently, so I want to put our stocks back up.
But yeah, the resistance potions that are there, there's resistances to ice, cold, I should say, poison, and lightning, and those look like they'll set you back 50 gold each as well.
I look at you and realise I'm not going to ask you a question.
So I'm currently trying to remember how much the potion of giant strength is, because I don't remember. I need to find how rare they are.
I'm going to buy one of each of the resistant potions. One of cold, one of poison, one of electric.
So 150 gold for those, and
And
so
then-
2 common healing potions.
Yeah,
So 250 gold.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, so because I'm doing that, I'm going to see maybe if I can get a bulk discount as well.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, because you actually are pretty decent at talking when you want
I
to.
have the highest charisma of class 8. Yes.
Roll persuasion.
I'm going to have
You
something.
you just watch us. Yeah, persuade the pants off the shopkeep.
I have a persuasion of 8.
See,
Okay. How do you attempt to persuade her?
Asking nicely. I said I'm going to buy 5 potions and a bulk discount. Is there any way I can get a discount for buying 5?
So she sort of takes a moment. Says, "Well, since you asked nicely, I can give you the lot for 230."
That sounds very reasonable. As I start counting out the gold for her.
She had an opposed persuasion of 6.
well,
potions looking like they're swirling, like you know how when you've got like glitter and stuff, and it's
The non-magical ones appear to have reasonable amount of glitter in them. There's various things like periapts of hair growth and all this kind of crap that's clearly there for people who don't know what the fuck they're looking at.
No, I'm looking for like swirly, glittery ones to get lost in.
Oh,
Stare at.
oh yeah. The potion of giant strength. It's almost like watching a small blizzard in a bottle.
Yeah, I'm staring at it. I'm just like.
Cousin.
Yes. As I sort of call out across. Hang on. I'm on the way.
Wonderful.
Move through the crowd.
Put our potions down.
So then, I get up to you.
For reference, that potion that she is staring at is 7,500 gold.
Sweet Christmas.
So I get up to you. I look at you. I look at what you're staring at.
Very expensive. Let's go. I bought the things.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Yeah, don't touch it.
Each
Okay.
one does have a little label with a price on it, and you can see how much it costs.
Yeah, so that's it. Oh.
I don't even think you can afford to touch the price tag. Where'd that go?
Oh no, I don't want it.
I bought the things. Let's go.
Yeah, so okay. And then I turn back at you
I'm
because
still staring.
yeah, so Sandra,
Hey.
we're moving on now.
Okay.
She's unmistakably drunk.
You have not seen me like this.
Oh no, I
properly
probably have. I just don't remember
You don't
it.
remember that. No, even then I was fine,
I was like,
but
What?
now I'm drunk.
how have you gotten this drunk? We've only
Magical alcohol.
It's really good. What's up?
Don't drink it.
no.
Try-
I think
try-
I'm good. After last time,
Okay. More for me then.
Try mine. Dwarven fire whiskey.
sounds intriguing.
Tastes like cinnamon.
You can handle your alcohol.
I'm saving mine for the trip. I'll show it to all of you.
I take a sip.
So most whiskies that you've tried have given a really, really strong afterkick that's actually not all that nice. Whereas this one, you've got a really fantastic taste of the alcohol itself and no kick.
Yeah, it's just like,
It goes down smooth and tasty.
Good rat.
that's really good.
They give the ball back.
But it just.
Bottle.
Oh. Anyway, come on, Cassandra, let's go.
Okay.
as I sort of, I motion you and then let you walk forward as I then follow up behind you, so I can point you in the right direction.
You're gonna
if needed.
steer me.
Yeah.
Just hobbling along behind it like, no. So,
You wouldn't be able to stop me if I went in a certain direction.
No. The only reason why I'm able to steer you is I'm fairly strong anyway. So.
What's your strength?
15.
18.
So, you guys start to make your way a bit further down the hill, and you get towards the main harbour master's building. As you get to the door, the guards sort of look up at you, but don't really say anything or stop you. Just sort of taking stock as you're walking past. Gives you sort of a funny. One of them sort of gives you a funny look as you do that. And you see that the doors into the main sort of building are open. And again, so the guards aren't impeding you in any way, just sort of acknowledging that you're walking.
Meandering.
Yeah, and
So despite the fact that a lot of the buildings show a lot of typical seaware weathering, a little bit of water damage here and there, this building's quite well maintained. It actually looks like it's really quite well cared for overall.
Most important building of the whole.
Right.
Same sort of level of care as the guild house was.
So who's going to make the introductions? Who's going to speak for our group?
I can.
Not you.
No.
Aww.
Wait. Yeah. Kara, you've got the symbol, don't you? In case we need it. No. Ah, yes. Sorry, it was you.
But we're not meant to do that. Remember, even the harbour master doesn't know who we are. So
No. We are merely caravan guards.
we're just simply looking for where we're going.
Yes, we're looking for our ship and.
Because you do have an official writ of transport, which are much less
I've got
conspicuous.
writs.
Yeah,
I have the writs.
that's what I meant.
Okay.
Does anyone else want a ginger beer?
I'm okay. I've got a drink
Oh, no,
in a
thank
minute,
you.
so
That's what I meant, not the symbol.
I should definitely do the talking if that's what you want me to do.
Go for it.
Well.
I'm gonna do it very factually and correct.
Screw it, I'm going to give it a go.
Oh no.
No, just make sure you're ready with those writs.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll
So-
walk in. You sort of, stumble in. And when you walk in, it's
Deb there.
so think Pirates of the Caribbean a little bit. So it's almost like the governor's house a little bit. It's quite nice, well maintained.
Like fortified manor.
Yeah, it's nice in here. And there's a man behind a desk of sorts. As you walk in, he's an elderly man with a fairly big beard, longish hair tied back into almost a bun of sorts. Functional, and he sort of looks up and adjusts his glasses and says, "Welcome to Port Saltwash. How can I be of assistance?"
Yeah, so. Well,
I'm like,
I'm keeping her away.
yeah, so,
Kicking her in the shins.
is it afternoon, morning?
Well, judging by
Oh no, that was an out of character question. Is it morning,
Oh,
afternoon?
it's not long after lunch.
Yeah, so, okay.
Sort of early afternoon.
It was afternoon.
No, yeah, so that's fine. Thank you. Yes, good afternoon. We are part of a caravan, and we are looking for the captain of the Ocean Spear.
Ocean Spear. That would be sort of opens a large book. That would be Captain Everick, I believe. Does
yeah.
that sound correct?
Yes, that sounds like the one. Yes.
Fantastic.
are we
Now,
playing the quiet game?
he's looking through books as well. According to my records, he is usually here during the day. Once he's made birth, of course.
Who's giving birth?
Tell you later.
As
Yes.
he's rifling through paperwork.
Yeah, no, he is
Yeah.
rifling through quite a lot of paperwork actually.
It's like, oh.
He's got a couple of books that look like they have sort of who's been in and out, ledgers of various kinds. Yes, Captain Everick has.
What?
He appears to have an office on the next floor up. He should be in, I believe. He often comes through the side door, so I haven't seen him myself.
Okay.
If you go up the stairs, third door on your right, and he sort of points you over to some stairs.
So up the stairs, third door on your right. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
No trouble. Is there anything else I can help you with?
As I turn to the group, is that anyone got any other questions?
Can I have a copy of the laws for this town, please?
No, because I don't have one.
Oh.
I'm sure the captain that you are intending to speak to can appraise you if necessary. I believe the guild house is more likely to have copies of the laws than we are.
Oh. What
Sure,
other
thought about
things
that.
what other things do you keep on file here? Other things of record?
It's mostly just records of the different ships, various pricings for different things. We also have a list of properties and such.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Oh, well, anyway, thank you very much. Have a good day.
And yourself.
So up, upstairs, third door on the right.
Okay, so
Who's
this
giving birth?
It's the other meaning of the word birth. A birth is to a ship as a stable is for a horse.
So he
That
stayed
with
with the ship.
E on that.
the stairs
Yes.
he pointed you to his right, to your left.
Mm-hmm.
They go up and curve to go behind where he was, and then there's a corridor down. And you go up to the top of the stairs, and you start walking down the corridor. You sort of see, there's someone up there who's just sort of walking into one of the other rooms on the left. Well dressed, a long cutlass at his side. And you sort of look at the doors, and you find the third one on your right.
Wait for me, cousin. I'm coming after you.
No, I wasn't speeding
we're
off.
walking up as well.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't speeding off. I was just casually sauntering.
Sauntering.
Good word.
We don't like unnecessarily long words around these parts.
You don't.
I know.
So, fairly professionally carved into the door, there is the design of what looks like a spear on the door. It's a fairly nice sort of almost trident-like spear, but it's not a trident, it is a spear. And based on the name of the ship you're looking for, you can see why this might be his office. Or, this may be his centration.
That looks like a spear.
And the door is closed.
Okay.
Don't knock too loud, you might think you're rude.
Or too quietly, he won't think you're authoritative enough.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, but it's not
So
shit.
not-
Now you're making me overthink it.
Right, I'm just going to knock.
It's like.
So
And then step back so he's like.
I don't know, not far from me.
okay, so give a couple of knocks, and a couple of moments go by, and sort of don't hear anything. Then the door sort of clicks and opens, and there's a man there with a fairly long black leather coat, has fairly large sleeves, proper pirate looking boot type things. Suave looking individual, short but tidy, shavings, stubble, medium sort of shoulder length, dark brown hair.
Does he have one earring?
He does.
Which side is the one earring?
Is it the gay side?
Is that still a thing?
No.
No.
This earring, the earring appears to be a shark's tooth on his left side.
That's okay
Right,
then.
so I am being
No, he's
really
badass.
unsubtle about checking him out.
Oh no!
Oh.
It's kind of like when you get the really drunk guy kind of leaning over.
I've
It's
still
like I'm
got my
looking at
mask.
your boobs.
I've still got my mask on and my hood up and
She's
everything.
just
And I'm
gone,
just like,
sploosh.
For reference, he is charisma 16,
Sploosh.
16 inches.
and
What? Whoa!
I'm sure the blood in the human body can disagree with that.
He'd just get turned on and just faint.
he is roguishly handsome.
Oh.
And he says, "Good day. To what do I owe the pleasure, mate?"
And now the two girls are going to be gagging for the same
Right.
fucking
I
game.
could
Hang
just
on.
imagine it here.
wait for it. This is my response.
He sort of gives you a look up and down, but obviously based on your armour and travelling clothes, you can't really get a good gauge.
Mm.
So he sort of gives a,
Are you Captain Everett
I am.
of the Ocean Spear?
That would be my ship.
We're the mercenary group.
Oh, right. I had a messenger about you lot for travel to Aki Harbour in Montai. Is that correct?
That's correct.
No,
That would be us.
that's us. Our caravan is waiting in the guild house at the moment. So we'll once we know when we begin boarding, we will let them know.
Excellent, mate. Would you care to step into my office?
Yeah, thank you.
He sort of walks ahead of you, walks over to his desk. His desk looks fairly well ordered. There is a fairly large map on there, which is a map of the world. There is a compass next to it. There's a sextant there. Typical sort of things you'd expect to see. He has your typical trappings of what you'd expect in a captain's office. There's a globe in the corner. There's a large.
Such heliocentric
He
nonsense.
probably has lots of maps, a variety of things around. Yeah,
all sorts
trophies of places. Yeah.
Does the globe look like it opens up?
I was just thinking that.
Cabinet club.
Okay,
Yeah.
how many chairs are in his office?
Currently, there are 3.
There's one behind his desk and then 2.
Yes.
I move and sit in the one on the left because I walk directly behind him.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm under the assumption that I'm letting the ladies sit down. So
Yeah, I'm just going to lean up against the door frame.
I'm not focusing on chairs. I'm staring at his ass as he walks away.
His ass isn't entirely obvious based on the very
Sounds
long piratey coat he's wearing.
I'm still looking.
So he sort of sits himself down in his seat, opens up a drawer, pulls out a book, flips it open one-handed. Right.
I do the same thing.
As I flop into the empty chair because it's
By
like,
my
oh,
accounts,
chair.
you have 6 caravans, 12 horses, drivers, and six mercenaries. 5 of you here, mates? 6th one not with you at the moment.
Not here present. He'll be joining us later.
he had another errand to run.
So, the crew is out and about doing their bits and pieces. Is there a particular time frame you'd be looking at leaving? Do you want to leave today, or are you looking towards waiting until tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow we will need time. The merchants will need time to stow their wares.
I mean, if you're with merchants from the guild, they're pretty efficient. They'll be ready pretty much whenever you want them, I imagine.
I don't think we want to try and push them too hard.
Tomorrow will be sufficient.
Um,
We will start loading
As
early
I
in the
look through
morning.
what?
I mean, if you want to get your guildmates getting the stuff along sometime this afternoon, we can get it all loaded ready. You are most welcome to stay on the ship for the night if you've got nowhere else.
I think that'd probably be a good idea.
Get yourselves acquainted a little bit.
It's sure. I have a couple of questions, if that's okay. How many members are there of your crew?
All told, there are 25 of us.
Are they all gentlemen?
There are ladies on my ship, if that is what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Some sailors considered unlucky.
That is the reason I was asking. It is a story, a rumour that I heard.
I mean, judging by my first mate, or I suppose mistress, if that's your way inclined to describe them, I ain't had a lick of bad luck since hiring her.
I am unaware of your crew, so I couldn't be one to judge.
And
Of course, not everyone has taken the
we're
ship's
bringing the draft animals on board, are we not?
Yes.
Yes, and there will be stabling for the animals.
Aye, we've been asked to accommodate for 12 horses, I believe, was what
Yes.
we were.
May also accommodate my dog. She is my.
a
my-
dog will be no problem. As long as she don't attack the ship, can.
She is quite. She's quite docile, but yes, I'll keep her.
Does she hunt rats? Or that taking the job away from the cat?
She's not very brave for that. She's bred as a draft dog.
I remember you saying about the rats.
She's very docile and very strong.
I mean, if anything, the dog's going to end up being the bed of the cat.
I would definitely say if your dog is likely to hunt rats, try and stave her off doing it, because our cat's a bit territorial like that.
For the accommodation on board, will the 6 of us be sharing a quarter together?
We have 4 essentially cabins, for want of a better word. We have 4 cabins set aside for you and the drivers of the caravans. We estimated, based on the information we've been provided, that one of those cabins would go to the ladies of your entourage, and the others would be split among the gentlemen.
Okay.
Seems fair.
Okay, yeah, fine. Okay, We had here that the journey is an estimated. We had this discussion. Lucy does know. Lucy's just going to find a piece of paper.
So typical estimate is anywhere in the region of about 2 months.
Yes, that's what it was. It was meant to be a month and a half crossing, 1 month there, and then a month and a half back.
Well, a month is what we've been contracted to wait once we've gotten you over there.
Rough estimates is what I am.
No,
saying.
of course. So the journeys are estimated about 2 months. That's usually top end.
Okay.
Month and a half if the wind is with us. Hopefully there shouldn't be too much. I mean, we haven't had many storms of late, so
on a
hopefully we'll be
typical
alright.
sea crossing, are there any fears or any things that we may face that we should be made aware of for some of us who have not travelled by sea before?
Aye. So sometimes weather can be a bit more choppy than others, so you've got to watch out for the crossing itself. You might feel a bit queasy, but a couple of days on ship and you should be right as rain. Pirates are always a bit of an issue in these waters. We've got a few measures to deal with them, but based on your jobs protecting your caravan, you'd be expected to help in the fights. Although
Of course.
the main running of the sailing and running of the ship we'll take care of. It's our job, of course.
I flash my pistol so that he knows I mean business.
You can see my crossbow's in open view on my back.
My greatsword is in open view on my back, but I'm not paying attention to it. I'm twiddling my hair.
He sort of smiles at the obvious gestures and shows of force and such.
Oh, I do absolutely nothing. So.
I can see you're well equipped, mates. Of course, I imagine you'll be handy if we do get into any fights and whatnot.
So weather, pirates, anything else?
Scurvy.
What on earth is scurvy?
Oh, now that
Sorry,
shouldn't be
wait,
too much.
What's the name of the world? Sorry.
Strictly speaking, I haven't actually given it one.
Okay, cool.
But I will get back to you once I've decided.
What on bleep is scurvy?
No. What in the name of this plane is scurvy?
That's. Do I have to roll to know what this?
Yes, you would.
Yes,
You've not really spent a lot of time.
Well, it's not just at sea you can get that anywhere.
No, but it's
Yeah.
far rarer.
What would I roll for that then?
Would that be medicine?
I'd probably put that as a medicine based on intelligence if it isn't already.
14.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
You know what scurvy is.
It's vitamin C deficiency. Causes swellings of the gums, and all sorts of problems. It's possible to die from it if it goes on for long enough. But ship's rations normally take that into account.
Okay.
We do keep ourselves a lot of fruit on board, and
Okay.
we've got a cleric who's fairly good at looking after it.
Are there?
You may want to buy some extra fruit to take with you, something that'll keep.
Like dried fruit.
Are there maybe, I don't know, strange sea creatures that that crop up?
I can't say I haven't encountered my fair share of them, but they're not exactly common.
Ah.
It's not something you'll find every day.
Okay. And while we are on board, would we be expected to do crew duties, or are we paid assistants as guests and only to protect the cargo?
As far as we're concerned, the day-to-day running of the ship and maintenance and stuff is our job. You wouldn't have to worry about that at all. You are contracted as guards for your caravan, not us. The only thing I would say is we would just expect your hand in a fight, because if we die, you probably die.
Okay.
That's not me being harsh. It's just
No, but it's interesting.
wait,
Makes
what?
sense.
That was blunt.
Makes
I
sense.
enjoy blunt. Going forward, do you want a formal introduction as who we are? Do you,
I mean,
or names to
I'm-
call us at least?
I'm happy with names. I'm sure you'll get a chance to meet some of the rest of me crew.
Do you prefer the title of captain at all times?
It's a good show for when I'm on land more than anything, but you can just call me Everick if it's easier.
Can I ask what your first name is, even if I don't use it?
You certainly may. I am Captain Carus Everick.
You spell it.
So Carus is CARRUS.
Karis.
What?
Yeah, we'll tell you after.
And then Everick is EVA R-I-C-K.
What's an A? Okay. This is Cass. I'm Mal, Zach, Hoff, and Carson. And we also have travelling with us is Gel.
I am fairly sure I can remember those.
Short and sweet, and that's how we all are.
Well, I mean, to be honest, the only short one here really is him.
I know, and then she makes up for the 3.
Well,
I'm sure
apparently
we'll
she
get to
makes
know
up
each
the sauce.
Not that wrong.
Anyway, why did you come with me back to the guild house? I'll pass on the news to Barefoot, and we'll get this show rolling.
Okay.
So, if you want to tell your caravan, they'd be looking at Dock 7.
So Dark 7, and we'll start loading.
Right. I'll make sure that most of my crews are prized. They won't all be there. Some of them, as I said, are out and about doing various errands and duties. If any of you are interested, we are going out for the evening for some merriment to one of the local tavernages.
Okay.
If
Sounds
that
good.
interests you.
Well,
Sure.
I've not been to Port Saltwash before, so yes.
Should we meet you?
I'll
Should we
be
meet
very
you
eager.
at the ship or the pub?
I would say if you'd probably want to come along with your caravan just to be safe. So come along with your caravan. I'll meet you at the ship. I imagine my first mate will be there as well.
And what is her name?
Her name is Eliza. Eliza Armstead.
Eliza Armstead. Thank you. We will meet you there at dock number 7.
I'm sure we will.
Gentlemen. Yes. Shall we?
And he sort of says politely, no rudeness or anything. It says, and if you could close the door on your way out, I'd be much appreciative.
I wasn't raised in no bar.
He sort of gives a
Well, he seems
to you all as you leave.
Yeah, as you say, I wasn't raised in a barn. I'm like, I was raised in a mansion.
Oh, look at Miss Little Platinum spoon in her mouth.
I don't have a spoon in my mouth.
I was
Carson,
raised in a large
link
holiday
arms,
mushroom.
Cass.
Okay.
Okay, and then keep her straight and narrow so we can get to the guild house.
So awkwardly, link my arm with yours.
Right,
And then-
as you start awkwardly doing it, I'm like, come on, properly link up and just like, let's go.
Yeah, because I basically started awkwardly as I started, right, that's it, that's how you go. And then you do that, I was like, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah, we'll go back to the guild house. Tell Barefoot exactly that they want to start loading this afternoon,
Okay.
and that there's a pre-voyage shindig tonight.
Right, whatever tavern it is.
So you guys don't sort of go on any diversions or go
No.
off anywhere else. You just
Let's
pretty much
stick
straight
to
back.
business.
Okay. So it takes you sort of another sort of
Well,
10-15
I
minutes to
mean-
get back.
Divert slightly.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's fine. So it takes sort of another 10-15 minutes to get back to the guild house. You get there, the guard is still there. So, crikey, you guys are fast.
It's like, he wants to leave. Yeah. We'll be leaving tomorrow. He says we can start loading immediately.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I thought you guys were going to be a couple of hours, but yeah, Barefoot's still around back, I think they're still... I think they're still with all the stuff, so that's probably for the best, I guess.
Right.
So, here's your way.
Okay, alright, I'll go find Barefoot. Barefoot! Where are you, scoundrel?
I'm here. What do you want? Have you guys even left yet?
Yes, we've been
We came back already.
we've been efficient. I'm small, I can get to the crowds. We've spoken to the we found the captain. He is...
That was fast.
well,
He was in his office.
He's in his office. He used to be a permanent feature here.
Oh, I mean, I suppose that makes sense.
He says we'll leave tomorrow. We can start loading right away. There is also
Of course then.
there is also going to be a pre-voyage shindig. Shindig.
She said shindig of merriment. So
Oi, well, I mean, if he's talking about merriment, then if he's one of these seafaring types, he's probably talking about a piss up.
Yes, well,
If
I-
you want a bit of
I assume that
Sort of looks at the side.
not yet.
No, thank you. I'd like to remember most of the evening.
Yeah,
good.
Barefoot has work to do. He has wagons to load.
If you want to undrunk her, If you pop in the guild house and tell them I sent you, they'll probably give you some alchemist mercy and get her unpissed for now. She's technically still on the clock.
Yeah, that's true. Right, come on, get yourself sobered up.
Barefoot. You want to try mine?
I mean, once we've
Save
packed
some for the
everything on the ship...
Save some for the voyage, man. Be professional.
How much have you lot been spending on alcohol? I mean, crikey.
It's a 2-month voyage. We need something
I mean,
to do.
Aye, but why are you drinking it all now?
I'm not. I'm just
I'm
trying.
not.
I mean, you're not.
I'm saving mine.
A sip's all it bloody takes. Aye, a sip's all it bloody takes for that stuff. That's what it's designed for. It's called value for money for bloody nothing.
Right, you sober up.
Yes.
Someone take a drink. Someone keep a drink of her for her own safety.
I'll have it. I'm not going to drink it. Please, because we're still working.
Right. And
Okay,
right, and help the other. You get sober. Everyone else, let's hope these traders get loaded. Sooner we get loaded, sooner we.
I was going to say that. Something else I'm used to.
And I'm going to get settled on the ship.
You're going to follow Carson.
Following you. Where are we going?
I'm going to get the dag.
We're going to go inside and get you
So,
a
And
drink.
pan off with the
Yes.
others to
Is it a
stop
magic?
lowering.
So based on how long
Better.
you guys... Cool. So based on how long you guys have actually been gone, all they'd really managed to do was untack the horses and brush them down.
Okay.
So at this point, like, they weren't expecting you this quick. So they start sort of running about getting the horses tagged. You guys sort of help get everything sorted.
I didn't think we were going to be this quick either. I thought we'd be dicking around for a few days.
Yeah, I fucking thought you guys would be as well. Really.
We're totally efficient.
But no, I thought you guys wouldn't fucking find him at all. I thought you guys were going to fuck all this up and I'd have to ad-lib a load of shit, but apparently not.
I would like to find a guild member or the guild master so I can find a copy of laws for the town.
Okay. So you pop into the main guild building sort of after them.
Mm-hmm.
And you go up and find one of the guildies, and he sort of nods and says, "Hi, how can I help?"
I would like to get a copy of the laws of this town. I know that we're not in here for very long, but I've not been in this town before.
Ah, you're new.
Yes.
Yeah, no one writes the laws down.
Okay.
It's basically don't kill shit, don't steal shit, don't do anything obviously offensive, and you'll be golden.
Do you keep a history of this town or any relevant information? I'm quite a scholar as well as a mercenary. Enjoy writing in my spare time.
Most of the history is kind of they get pissed.
And
Yeah, no, not really. We sell things. That's kind of what we do. We tell people not to do silly things because we don't want all our potential customers getting killed.
okay, what's the name of this guild?
The guild.
Okay.
Right.
Don't make no. For our group, the rules should always be as follows. When you go out on the town, don't make less people, don't make more people, and don't take anything that isn't yours.
And don't let Cassandra buy you the drinks.
And if you end up in prison, assert dominance quickly.
I mean, if you're after a name of the guild house itself, the guild house is the Salted Rose, but no one really gives the guild a name. It's a guild.
I was just trying to find some more information about the place that we're in.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough. I mean, you've come to the wrong place if you're looking for scholarly acquisitions.
Cassus, I want another printout of this town. I'm collecting them. Where do I need to go for this information?
Go ask the shady fuckers behind the dark buildings. Day.
Alright.
Oh no.
I'm too
We're
young to care right
we're
now.
doing something else.
It's almost like Lucy's trying to get some karmic payback on her players or something.
Mm.
That's fine. Port Saltwash is not the place to do it.
Challenge accepted.
No!
But
Don't say the things we
Okay,
say.
thank you very much.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to buy stuff, this is kind of the place to get some of the more exotic things.
Well, what kind of things?
Oh, we've got all sorts. We've got trinkets and treasures, magic items, potions, all sorts.
Okay, and where do I need to go to? Like a main selling point, store, shop front?
Well, strictly speaking, anyone here is a merchant of some kind. What particularly are you looking for?
What do you have to sell?
I've just told you, just about a bit of everything.
What
I would
you
like to
lying,
have-
stranger?
I'd like to browse your wares.
Right.
I don't know why I did that with funky eyebrows, but
I want to browse your
Well,
wares.
I've got a large stock of antiques from different continents, and I have a few. In fact, I've got a few interesting livestock pieces.
okay, I'm gonna have a look.
I was actually expecting to say jokes on you. The wares of what I call my underwear.
So it takes you out to one of the warehouses and opens it up, and he's got a couple of oxen. He's got some bulls, some cows. You can also see the other side of the warehouse, well away from the livestock, are what looks like some crates that are packed with. That looks like there's a lot of straw poking out the sides because it's fairly good for cushioning.
Oh, maybe it's ice.
So
Brilliant.
it's what I'm particularly looking for. Like I said, livestock, antiques, that's my main thing.
I find that I'm not sure of what I'm looking for until something catches my eye, so I investigate fully before making any purchases.
Alright.
I'd like to browse your wares. I want to really subtly cast Detect Magic again, because obviously I've got to do that.
The moment you start doing any kind of casting, he puts his hand. No casting around the goods. Guild rules.
Step outside, cast, and go back inside.
If you want to know what's what,
Yeah?
I'll tell you. But again, guild rules, no casting around the goods.
Oh, it's just
But
like
you said there
storage
are
rules.
no rules, no laws.
No, I said there's no record of the laws because no one bothers writing them down.
Then how do I know what you're telling me is truthful?
Go ask anyone else in the guild.
That sounds like
Okay, well, what's in a point at a random crate? That crate.
Those are Montayan antiques. Mostly vases. There's one urn rather than a vase, which was a bit of an interesting acquisition, but hey.
No, okay, what about that one?
That one would be that's Forterian. That's Forterian ice sculptures.
Said ice.
That one's magically protected to keep it all cold.
Okay, that one.
That one is Edorfal tribals of
What?
various kinds.
Where's that from?
Edorfal is the continent on the far right of the map. A couple of different tribes you find in the woods. Got some of the artifacts from them. It's quite interesting, actually.
Would you mind if I had a look in that crate?
I will certainly show you. So he steps over. There's a bit less straw poking out of this one. He pulls up top of the crate, shifts aside some of the hay that is in there. There's a couple of interesting sort of very tribal looking armor pieces. A couple of tribal blowguns and bows. There is also a couple of sort of tribal stone things with like almost runes etched on them.
What are those? I pointed the stone etched things.
Tribal protection runes.
How so?
They believe, I don't actually believe that they really do much because they're not magical, but they're interesting and got a lot of cultural heritage in them. But they believe that keeping one on you is good luck and protection.
Okay. How much for one?
That will set you back 100,000 gold pieces.
Oh. But it has no magical value. Is the cost in the culture and the acquisition?
Yes, the culture is extinct.
Oh.
Oh damn!
Which culture is it?
One of the old tribal cultures. We don't know much more than that.
Okay.
I'm not actually the historian, I'm the seller. The historian told me how much it's worth.
Do we have a historian here?
Nah. Historians don't really come here.
Then
Bit
how?
rough and tumble for them.
Then how do you get the historians to value the wares?
We take it to the historians and then come back and sell them.
Makes sense. Okay. Alright. I basically am going to spend some time browsing. I don't think there's anything here I can buy. No.
It's the minimum price on anything here is 50,000. It's expensive stuff, except for the livestock. But again, livestock is not a wieldly thing to keep.
Okay. I go back slightly dejected.
I want to find something interesting. I've come back with a sheep. Meh.
We'll come back to you. So you guys come in, and she sort of goes off to talk to someone. You guys find one of the guildies running around. It's,
I like tug
Elven
on your
lady.
arm like.
Yes, I have. Hold on. Give me a minute.
so you walk up to a austere-looking elven woman.
Yeah, it's like, no, excuse me.
How can I help you, love?
Barefoot sent me. He said that you might.
He's in, is he? Oh, I'd love to have a drink with him later.
It's like, well, we are supposed to be heading down to a tavern later. There's some merriment happening, pre-voyage shindig. So, maybe you could join us.
I mean, I'm sure I'll speak to him at some point and find out what's going on.
But he mentioned that you might have something that helps make people not drunk.
In character, I'm playing with my hair.
He sent you for some of the alchemist mercy. Yes. Few of the hired guards drink a bit too much and end up not being able to do their jobs. So we have to keep a fair stock of the stuff on hand. Give me a moment.
Oh, thank you.
So she walks off to what looks like a supply cupboard. Opens it. Steps in. Comes out a moment later, holding a vial and says, "Drink this. Tastes great."
Ooh! Glug.
You're immediately not drunk. Not the most expensive of things, but very effective nonetheless.
No, is that well? Do I owe you anything for that? Or?
I owe Barefoot, so it's not a problem. And besides, as I said, if you're working with Barefoot, then you're doing some various guild duty anyway. So
so we're going to be helping unload the caravans and such and getting them ready to go on the ship.
As realization of the last 20 minutes of the shit I've done in the last 20 minutes, I'm like,
no hangover, just the regrets.
The most powerful hangover of them all, shame.
Yeah, so I was playing with my hair as I drank and I'm like,
Yes, well, that seems to have done the trick. So thank you very much. But yes, we'd best be working. But maybe see you later.
It's possible. Again, I'm sure I'll speak to Barefoot later.
Yeah, so enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Best of luck on your voyage.
Thank you. You alright, Cassandra?
So you guys head back out. Most of the horses are now sort of tacked up and back up on the caravans, just sort of getting the last few bits on the last two. Your horses sort of are just being sort of saddled up as well.
As I pull my hood further around my face.
Yeah, at this point I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm just gonna, let's go outside and help pack.
As I was out quickly with the with my dog and everything, when I get to the ship with the first sort of wagon, I'm going to get on board and I'm going to make sure I get bottom bunk because I'm not climbing up to a top bunk. Well, not bunk, a hammock. I assume it was like a double or triple stack of hammocks.
Carson, Hofsbottom.
I've got a stick.
No, not the rod.
Not the rod. He's bottom bitch, which makes you top bitch. Imagine being top bitch on a ship.
It's fine. I need to work on my
Imagine
climbing.
you being top bitch for a change.
So everything gets sort of sorted and ready to go.
Don't let me use the rod.
Macaria makes her way back in, sort of looking a bit put out. Everyone sort of gets their horses together. You sort of have Gal's horse tied up to the side of yours to walk alongside. Barefoot sort of turns around. We'll make sure to leave a note so that Gal knows where to go. Which dock are we going to, by the way?
7.
Dock 7.
Yay!
Yay!
You remembered things.
Yay!
Right, not a problem. Right. Where's one of the hands? He sort of clicks over to one of the He clicks over to one of the stable boys and goes, "Right, if an old elven man comes along, tell him he needs to go to Dock 7 to the Ocean Sphere." Got that? So he sort of nods. Right, make sure you tell one of the other guild members as well, so that they've got it. It'll be fine. Right, everyone ready to go?
Yes.
Fantastic. Let's get the show on the road. So you guys start off again, and it's much quicker on the horses overall. People sort of part for the caravans, sort of just watch as you go past.
I'll be in between two of the horses on my cart, looking out for people that might be trying to want to rush one of the wagons.
Your at best guess. In fact, give me anyone who is looking out at the crowds. Give me an insight check.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm doing that.
Ugh.
Luck vampire.
Hang on, so who's got number wang?
I got Wanganum.
Yeah,
Oh, you got Wanganum. Oh,
Yeah,
so
Wanganum.
that's a 20. Yeah, so natural 20 for 25.
Okay.
Non-natural 20.
Natural 1 for 2.
Oh, for fuck! Give me my luck back, you
Wanganum!
prick.
I didn't do it.
You infected these
Luck
dice!
vampire! Luck vampire!
so
You did infect those dice before you gave them to him.
Hey, but he was rolling fine at first.
You do not like the city. You don't trust a single person that you've walked past or ridden past.
No, I don't normally work in a city. Normally, my job's done when I get to a city.
Like both of you. No, none of you trust anyone you're going past.
Was I the only one that didn't roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get?
Non-natural 20.
Okay, so you largely get this as well. So it's pretty much a case of anyone who even remotely might eye it up isn't, because in the bright of day, breaking the law is probably not a clever move.
It's a death penalty.
Pretty much.
And we're all packing.
Yeah, and anyone who sort of looks up, even remotely curiously, then very quickly eyes the gun, the massive sword, the axe that you've got. They eye up all the different things, even your fairly sizable crossbow, and they sort of look up all the weapons. It's like even if they remotely considered it, they wouldn't even bother.
Well, either side will see a gun on me.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so it's clear that people know this would be a fucking foolhardy thing to do. Not only would you clearly not be breaking the law because you're just guarding a caravan, but they would be clearly breaking the law, and the guards would probably just make sure they help you kill.
Fair.
And I say, with the rolls, you know for a fact, looking at the guards, that the guards, as a caravan is coming through, the guards are sort of keeping an extra eye out to be safe. And it almost looks like any excuse for the guards to not be stood around bored. If something
Kicks off, they'll enjoy it.
Yeah. They are itching to.
Oh, I'd love to kill that one.
So I didn't feel like
excuse.
You do see in a couple of the side alleys, you do see a couple of shady people, but they're not eyeing the caravan so much as using the fact that a caravan's going through as an opportunity to do whatever they're doing. It looks like it's probably illegal, but again, it's one of those things that, black
There's a
market trade.
distraction. Use it.
Black market trade is probably less enforced against than people just ignore it so that they don't get involved with whatever shady shit's going down. Like even the guards probably think twice about crossing the black market, because the black market are all usually as well armed sort of thing, and it's not the safest thing to attack anyone, especially when they're likely to stab you in the back.
That and the fact that I really wouldn't be surprised if the black market ends up sort of helping the guards in some respect, because they can get some unique
It's a
items.
pro relationship. We don't fuck you up, you don't fuck us up.
Based on some of the slightly, not necessarily like shady things, but slightly underhanded things that your family have done. Nothing like bad, just
Questionable.
slightly questionable deals they may have made where they didn't ask where something came from. Black market trade probably will benefit a lot of people.
That's fair. Yeah, it's like yeah. So you're out front.
No, I'm behind the front one.
Oh, you're behind the front one.
So I'm essentially hidden in between two. They're like, ooh, wagon, gnome on dog cart, another wagon.
I'll be at the back, the very back of it all.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna just sort of it's like, looks like we're not going to get any trouble. Not like loudly or anything, but if anyone's nearby, just sort of casually say that.
You do also notice that the two of them look kind of nervous, like anyone's going to attack them any second.
Too many people, too many people.
She's totally oblivious.
Yeah. So in that case, Because I'd imagine you're probably the nearer one to me compared to you. No, so, no, I wouldn't look so nervous. It doesn't look like we've got any trouble. The guards seem to be keeping an extra eye out for us as well, being as we're a caravan coming through.
Still, you know what Barefoot said. This is a rough city. We must be careful.
True, but with it being broad daylight, I'm pretty sure less likely anything's going to happen. So stay calm. I'm sure everything will be fine.
So once you make your way down to the main sort of dock, there's an archway of wood that's sort of adorned with a few fish carvings and other such things. As you get there, you sort of found the main sort of dock areas, and there's sort of a person. One of the guards has sort of stood there, just keeping an eye out. There are a lot of guards stationed around the docks. Obviously, people don't want people fucking with the ships, so there's a fairly hefty guard presence overall here, and they are all patrolling except sort of the couple that are at the gate areas. And he sort of looks up and says, "Which dock are you going to?"
No, 7.
7. Points to one. That one over there.
No, thank you.
Sort of steps aside enough that he won't interfere with you guys going past.
Okay, as we approach the ship, I'm going to look at it and see if there is a name on the back or anything.
So as you get to the ship, so it's a fairly sizable ship. It's a nice one. All along the left hand side that you're coming up on first is the same design of spear that was on the door, painted on, and there's no weathering to it, so you think it might be either magical or magically treated paint. But I say it's a very, very fine, ornate spear painting. Underneath the main handle of the spear, it does say the Ocean Spear on it. If you do go over to the other side, it does have the same on the other side, but on the other side, it is in Elven.
Ooh, and read that.
Read that.
I can't.
As you go around the back, you do notice there is also on the back in Orc the Ocean Spear,
I can read that.
which in itself seems a little bit weird and out of place, but
Yeah, so
Or crew, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah, they are big and strong.
maybe yeah.
Orcs are strong. They would make good sailors.
No, true.
But so you come up on the left hand side, and there's a large sort of plank type gangplank that's set up to carry across caravans and things. There's a crane on the side of the pier which looks like it's designed to, haul stuff down into the main belly of the ship, which is probably what's going to happen with the caravans.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the crane, going, what the?
A lot of pulleys and winches and things.
Yeah, it's like,
Ingenious.
As you're coming up towards the side, and the sort of caravan slowing down and stopping, you see a head poke over the side. Ah, you're here, mate. So Captain Everett strides down the plank to you guys.
strides.
Gives you a welcome to me ship. What do you think?
She's beautiful.
A fine vessel for sure.
Oh, yes.
I agree.
The biggest I have seen.
Oh, I never tire of hearing it.
Okay. I know that this says Ocean Spear on one side. What did the other two things say?
On the other side of the ship, it's Ocean Spear and Elven.
And on the back it was in Orc. Ocean Spear.
Now, in my defence, the orc on the back wasn't actually planned. That would be down to Yargog.
Yargog.
Yeah, the git. It's my shipwright. Not many people are lucky enough to have their own shipwright on ship, but he's about as mad as you can imagine.
Is shipwright ship as in right, not left, or shipwright as in right, or W-R-I-G-H-T?
Right, yeah. Right, because it's a, yeah.
Aye, he's probably the maddest shipwright you will ever meet. But he's fantastic at his job, which is why he's on my ship.
Who are we to judge?
Aye, well, that's fair enough, and I certainly appreciate you being So understanding. He's
Crazy makes for interesting conversation.
well, he's a big orc, a bit fond of his drink, but you know, we can forgive him his sins. Not that any of us aren't too bad with the stuff. But still. So, you got your caravan here. He sort of looks over, sees sort of the halfling on the thing, sort of gives him sort of a nod.
Oh.
Bertha's like, hello!
This is Barefoot, by the way, Captain Everett.
He goes, nice to meet you. Barefoot sort of looks over and goes, oi, good to meet you too. My name's Barefoot. On account of the bare feet. Bit of a joke. And he's like, I get it.
It's really weird to be schizophrenic.
Well,
All you were thinking just then was
well, if Barefoot, if you were in charge of your caravan there, if you speak to one of the fellas just on the side of the pier there, they'll help you get all the stuff craned up and into the belly. If you guys want to come and have a look at your accommodation, so to speak,
No, of course.
I'll show you where to put your things.
thank you.
I dismount my horse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the horses can stay here with your caravan friends, and they'll make sure that they're properly looked after. Follow me, mate. So he walks back up the gangplank, and you guys follow him. It's a fantastic oak deck, well cared for, well loved ship. You can see that it is a ship of some years. It's been in use for a while.
How's this ship compared to the last one I was on?
This is a nice ship. The last one was a bit of a shit pile, functional, not that cared for, just your typical travel ship. This one is a livelihood. This one is his home, not just his ship. And it's like you can see that he
Like, I
he looks
take a
after
breath
it.
in. Doesn't smell like mould.
I'm not about to let my home get mold.
Sorry, the last ship that I was on was a lot worse.
So it already smells better than my IRL house.
We do see a few of the less cared for ships. It's a bit of a shame to see him go to waste, actually. But what are we gonna do?
Very disheartening.
As he's walking forwards, a woman walks over from one of the people that she was speaking to, and she says, "Captain."
Hello, Eliza.
She sort of nods. I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
My name is Mel. This is Cass. This is Carson. This is Hoff.
Oh.
This is Zach. And that's
Yeah.
Barefoot over there.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, I'm sure.
You are the first mistress. So the captain said you were.
Is that what he told me? He sort of looks up
I
and
believe
goes,
the term is first mate.
He
Oh,
said
my
first
God.
mistress.
I may have made a joke about how you're a bit of a mistress. And she says, yeah, wouldn't you like to find out? Well, hope you enjoy your time on the ship. I'm sure we'll get to know each other better as things go along. Hopefully this one won't be too in your face, suave as he thinks he is. She sort of shoulders her rifle a little bit. Yeah, it's a nice rifle as well. She sort of shoulders it a bit and says, well, got to kick a few more of these deckhands to do their job properly. I'll talk to you once you're settled in.
Bye.
She sort of gives a similar sort of farewell as the captain. Not quite the same, but similar. And she sort of goes about kicking a few more deckhands into gear. He goes, oh, I'm never going to hear the end of that one.
While we're on board, are we meant to do the same thing? Are we meant to do the...
I was just thinking that.
Is that a thing that's meant to be done aboard?
No, I think I told you crew would do that.
Are we allowed to do it? Because it looks like fun.
I mean, you can do whatever you want, really, mate. It's kind of just our thing, I guess. It's just how we say hello and goodbye.
Whatever we want, dynamite.
Hooray, gambling!
You know how
I appreciate you.
Monkey knife fight.
You know how in some societies they tip their hat as a welcoming and
You know,
the
like
other
I
one?
do.
Farewell.
Farewell.
No, but okay.
You know,
It's-
you see me do it like dozens of times. So
It's that is you, if you're not wearing a hat, it's a
salute.
hello goodbye. It's a
It's
Sign of
it's a
respect.
way of some people
It's a sign of
greeting
respect.
people.
Usually reserved more for like army and military kind of things, I guess.
But amongst the gentry, the roof of the hat, it's almost a way of showing humility, and also that you have nothing to hide.
I don't have a hat, so
Well,
can I do that?
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
It's symbolic.
So a sort of ship's handshake.
You read
Thought that, yeah.
etiquette among lords and ladies.
Yes.
You know how a lord bows and a lady curtsies.
Yes.
It's
So-
that, but the less formal version.
I need to find a fan.
Okay. I rarely take off my
So
hat.
as we're talking, he takes you into one of the doors into the ship, and on the right hand side, once you've walked into the sort of main sort of area, there's a set of stairs going down, and it leads you into the next floor of the ship. There's a couple of rooms there with doors to them. It's a fairly sizable ship, and he sort of walks past the first one, says, "That one will be the one that's reserved for your caravan mates, same as the one opposite it." So the next doors, he says, "Right, this one is the one we've got set up for the ladies, and this one is the one we've got set up for the gentlemen."
Thank you.
There you go.
So you're aware. Most of the crew sleeps in the next couple over. That's crew quarters. Mine is at the far end, at the back of the ship.
I
That
watched
would be-
her face for that reaction.
But that would be the captain's quarters. Funnily enough, first mate has the one 2 down from here to herself, mainly because she'll shoot anyone who walks in on her. But who are we to judge, right? But feel free to make yourselves at home. It is going to be your home for the next couple of months. Enjoy it as best you can.
Okay, I'm gonna find. Right, I'm gonna find a crate, a large crate, or some sort of enclosure, just to keep my dog out of trouble when I'm not around, when I'm not immediately to hand, because
Okay.
I don't want her wandering the ship, getting in people's way.
Okay, so based on the fact that you've mentioned the dog, there is what looks like sort of like a straw bed been set up in the cabin
Okay.
for you guys.
Yep.
There is a bunk bed in there as well as a single bed that's not a bunk bed. It looks like they've set up kind of specifically after the fact that there's 3 of you mentioned. Maybe he forgot Galeth, or maybe Galeth is totally in with the caravan drivers just for simplicity's sake.
Not with the PCs, no.
Yeah,
Off
it's like,
screen and far the fuck away.
but you guys, it's cozy. I say everything is clean and laundered. There's a couple of sort of cupboards in there.
Do they have a ship's cook?
I sling my backpack into one of the cupboards.
I start, getting all of my stuff out of my pack and put it away into drawers and shit.
So when you two go into the ladies' room, you each have your own bed, not bunk bed, bed.
Nice.
Not even hammocks.
And it's well laundered fine sheets on them. You think he may have had a hand in this, but yeah, they're well laundered fine sheets, and you each have a cupboard for anything you want to put in there, as well as there are some changes of clothes just in case, mainly because obviously on a ship you can get a bit wet if you haven't got spare dry clothes of your own. There are spare clothes in for you guys as well, but
Okay. I put everything away apart from the important things, which I keep in the bag on my persons.
yeah, reasonable.
I'm putting all my stuff away and then I'm there going, how long till we go out?
What, this evening? A
How long
couple
have
of
we got?
hours, probably.
No, I don't think I'll need my armour on the ship. So I start taking my armour off. Shit is heavy.
I'm incredibly efficient. I make sure that I keep all my shit in my backpack and I plonk the bag down because that's what I do.
Yeah, I did the same. I just plugged right into the
Yeah,
cupboard.
everywhere I go, I make sure I've got everything ready in my bag so I can just pick it up and go if we need to go.
Yeah, all of my shit is being put neatly away in drawers and, all of that crap.
I don't know if I have enough space for my books. I start like putting them like instead of having them this way, I'm like I turn them
And properly stack them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to make sure that even my axe and such, you know, is put away for now because you know when we go out, I don't think it's a good idea to keep it with me.
I'm gonna
Not if we're going out for a shindig.
I'm gonna put my crossbow away, but
Yeah, put my crossbow away, it's
pistol's
too
dead
big.
on me.
And I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that rod with me. It's too dangerous.
I'm taking
Is
my
there
greatsword. I
a
don't
key
care.
for our cabins? Can we lock them?
There is keys.
Okay.
There is a key that's in the door on the inside, and a spare one that's on one of the side
We
cabinets.
got one each. Okay.
There's 2 keys for your
I
room.
take a piece of parchment.
Um,
Right. Mine and
so
yours name.
generally,
But I
it
do
looks
that
like a lot of
now
these
and
rooms are
Cass.
probably set up for 2 keys.
So I can put it on the outside of our
2
door.
keys, 3
Then I
people.
put their name and put it on the outside of their door.
Maybe we should see
So,
if we
right.
can find somewhere to get it.
So after a little
I can
while,
put it in my hat. I can put hooks
what
inside
you're
my
going
hat.
to hear is a
That's a good idea.
on your door.
Let's get a spare one.
Well, yeah, no,
They're
no,
not paying attention, so screw you
We're
too.
talking about our keys.
Yes, we're talking keys. Where are we hiding the keys? He's hiding one in his hat.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
because I've got pockets and shit in my hat.
I'll keep a hold
That's
of
cool.
the other one for now, but we'll see if we can get another one made.
Yeah, so
Well, we'll see.
after a while of you doing whatever it is you're doing, you're just going to hear a on your door.
Yeah, do you hear
And
us?
then the door
well, I say, you know, arguing. We're having a heated debate about keys. Oh, I can put it in there.
No, we're not paying attention to what you're talking about. All you hear is a on your door and then a door closing.
Yes.
To be fair, how quickly we would have dumped all of our stuff and then how short that conversation really was, we
Yeah.
would have been just done way before.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Yeah, they've not really unpacked anything, whereas you guys have.
No, that's true.
Just dump my pack on my bed. Claimed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
dog-
so-
dog's quite happily sat on its.
Any of you getting changed before going out?
I already have.
Actually,
I
yeah, there's
fancy
probably
clothes.
actually
changing
yes,
into
it's
some
probably a
of the
good
clothes that
idea
are
because we're probably going to
provided.
smell.
Because I've been
Yeah.
wearing these for a while
Yes, I've been
and they
trying.
stank.
Yeah, these my travelling clothes are filthy.
I've
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
a fresh shirt.
Yeah, so the clothes are fairly nice standard fare. Nothing super fancy, but nothing shit. So
Prestidigitation.
yeah, fine.
I will brush my hat and get some of the road dust out.
That's what
Yeah, I
beds
turned
do
to
we
you and
have?
I've got these that I've been wearing, or my fancy dress, which I highly doubt will be fitting for where we're going.
Prestidigitation.
Thank you. Then put my shit back on
Yeah, so what do we
and
have?
attach my key
Again,
to the
there's
lacing
just
of
some
my
spare,
corset.
spare dry, clean clothes.
Oh no, as in like bed-wise, do we have? How
Like I
much
said-
do we have beds?
Like
or?
I said, you have
One
a
bunk
bunk
bed
bed
and
and
a
a bed.
Oh, a bunk bed and a bed.
I don't care as long as I get one nearest the
Nice,
ground.
nice clean sheets, but not quite as nice as theirs.
They've been
I'm used to sleeping on the road. I'm
Yeah,
fine.
they haven't seen our review.
Yeah,
I'd be
them too.
That's fine.
I am fine. In fact, this sea voyage will give me a chance to air my travelling blanket and all my travelling clothes.
You know, again, I'm sure this bed's comfortable. I'm going to test it out now.
If you had one bunk, you could put like a series of things up and make yourself a little den.
Put stuff
no.
to block off your bed, so you've got like curtains.
And just some tentacles hanging down in case anyone comes near.
Well, no, yeah, that's sort of near the side of my bed. So if anyone
Make
bothers
yourself
me,
a fort. Make yourself a fort on the bottom.
Fort Tentacular.
Fort hentai.
Fort Tentacle Born. So anyway,
Fort Soup,
Yeah.
Fort
Right.
Soup,
You want to
Soup
know where I'm
Tentacle
putting my
Velocity Time.
key?
Where?
I am attaching
Go.
it to the lacing of my
Soup
corset
Velocity Time, go.
under my normal clothes.
My brain.
Yeah, have
ranks.
fun getting that out when
Pencils
you're
everywhere.
drunk.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you do it.
That's why I have a mouth.
What am I doing?
Getting when we get back to the ship, if I'm drunk, you know, figuring out how to unloop the key from the corset. He was like, "How are you going to do that?" And I went, "Choose a key."
Yeah, I'm ready.
Right, yeah, weapon wise, I'm taking out my hunting
Well,
knife.
we've got a few hours. Yeah, I'm going to go wander around the ship.
Actually, I suppose, yeah, get
I,
familiar.
I want to go knock on their door.
Hello!
Alright.
Yeah.
Hello.
hello.
Can I come in? Are you decent?
Yeah.
Never!
My hand
open the door.
So you hear the handle slightly move slightly, and then nothing happens as soon as you sit there.
And then,
Come in!
as I open the door with her hand on it, they're fine.
It
was a joke.
Oh, okay.
It was a joke.
Hello.
Oh,
As I'm peering down from the top bunk because You know, I was like, because I was trying it out.
Right, as I lean in, I'm like, you got the better room.
I know what I forgot to buy.
You haven't seen ours yet.
A fighting net.
Where's your
fighting
clothes? Where's your clothes that you've been travelling with?
It's a martial ranged weapon.
I'll just
bet
pop
it's
them
a
down
bloke.
next to my bag, just down there.
Prestidigitation. And then I hang them up nicely for you.
We will need.
Oh,
What do you buy?
thank you.
Would you like my hat?
What do you buy?
Prestidigitation. So I can do cantrips like with no slots.
Yeah.
So I may as well do it because it cleans things. So
I'm clean. I'm
Clean my hat's one of the rare times I take my hat off.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my god, you have hair.
Yes, no stuff hair.
Prestidigitating with clothes.
My God, your hair is two different
Cantrips, man.
colours.
I
Cantrips.
get bored. I'm gonna go wander.
Okay, come on, have a look in our room.
Right.
Okay.
Right, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
as I jump down.
I'm
I'm gonna go
familiarising
back up
myself.
on stack.
No, if we get the chance, maybe we should pick up a bit more food. I mean, there'll be plenty of food on ship, but it may get a bit samey after a while.
Okay.
Might be good to get something different, just for us.
Okay.
Ooh.
And you turn around and I'm gone.
As you said out, I put your names on the door, so it has Zach, Hoff, and Carr, and then ours has got Mal and Cass on it. And I did little drawings.
That's really nice, but otherwise, Hoff, yes, that's a brilliant idea. Even if we get a stockpile of some herbs and spices, to fancy it up a bit.
Some fruit and
Well,
some dry preserved fruit.
We have a couple of hours before meeting everyone at wherever we're going. Why don't we go back off and go and get a couple things first when we find out where we're going?
Yes, I'm gonna get. Yes.
That's true. That's a good idea.
So while you guys are all sort of talking, so you sort of headed back up.
Yeah, I got bored of the conversation. I'm going for a wander.
So you head out onto the deck and you see sort of the hustle and bustle of everyone getting stuff sorted, getting things ready for a voyage. And
I'm making sure I'm staying out of the way as they're running about, but I'm still nosing about.
You can see Captain Everick and First Mate First Mate Armstead. You can see them both she's sort of walking with him, making sure that she knows what's going on. They're directing people as and when, and sort of as you're sort of looking around, there's a young-ish boy sat just on the right-hand side of the ship, just on the edge of one of the edge of the rails.
I'm going to go say hi.
And he goes, "All right,
Hi, I'm Cass.
hi Cass.
What's your name?
I'm Little Johnny Swale.
Little Johnny.
Little Johnny.
Nice to meet you. Are you going to be coming on this trip with us?
Alright, I'm
Where's
Captain
the
Boy.
website? Let's go
Oh.
all the little Johnny Joe.
At least that's what they call me. I do a lot of the footwork for the captain.
Very nice.
They're human.
Yeah. Yes.
Anything you need? People don't normally come and talk to me too much unless they need something, or unless I'm being fed. That's always good.
Wanting to introduce myself. We're going to be on this ship for a while.
Ah well,
Thought
fair
I'd get
enough.
to know you.
I guess you're the new passengers then.
Yep.
Taking you off to that continent on the west.
Yes.
That's the one. Yeah, west.
Yeah.
Captain's teaching me a little bit, but
Oh,
not
that's
all of it
nice
sinking in, to be honest.
It will in time. It'll become second nature.
So about that sort of point, you guys are sort of heading up onto the deck as well after chatting things.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Where would you say is the best reading nook? Best place to sit and be invisible to people around you?
I love you telling this, but I can't read.
I'd probably say in your cabin, to be honest. Everywhere else tends to get a bit busy, especially when ships in motion, so to speak. Not too many nooks and crannies, to be honest. And if you want to go and sit with the horses can be quite nice.
Yeah, no, I'm coming.
That is true, but they can be good company.
Yeah. Haven't had that many on ship, to be honest. Well, not while I've been around.
How long have you been on the ship then?
Couple of years now. Captain saved me from some pirates. They figured I'd since I
Does he
didn't,
have a confidant?
I was gonna say that.
Shut up!
figured he said if I wanted to go and live on land I could, but I figured since I'd already been on a pirate ship for a little bit, being mistreated and all, I'd just stick on ship, and it's done me well so far.
Was it Swales? Did you say Little Johnny Swales or something?
Little Johnny Swale, SWAIL.
S.
Maybe it's not a gold medallion, but he's got a curse. He's got to have a
A-I-L.
curse.
Did you say sorry?
SWAIL.
Swale.
Well,
That is what I
I'm
was
sure
written.
we'll have more chances to chat in the future.
The bald bearded guy, there's a bald bearded guy who's wandering around, sort of doing a few bits. Shouts over, boy. Shut up, boy. He shouts over, boy. He goes-
I say there, boy.
He says,
Wow,
Come
two
in,
different
Rosen.
generations there.
he sort of gets up. I'll talk to you later, miss. And he runs over, and the guy starts sort of telling him something, and he sort of nods and runs off on some kind of errand of some kind.
Well, Buck, did you know that
Yeah,
on
so I'm gonna
Saturday,
go sit
Cassus
at
and
the
Merlan
bow of
stream
the,
God of War,
of the ship.
and then boy is one of the catchphrases from the game they're currently playing.
Oh yeah.
So I'm
He
gonna go
refers
sit
to
in bow of the
his
ship
son as boy.
And,
I was thinking
start
the
reading
Looney
my book.
Tunes.
Follow
I've
on
got a
that
few
one.
hours to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd plug one of their other streams in the middle of this stream.
Yeah.
Oh,
God of War on
such a
Saturdays.
seamless plug.
Were you impressed? Were you impressed? There we go.
It certainly was a thing.
He does have a very well kept beard, for someone who doesn't seem to shave ever.
it's a
He's a god though.
it's a kept, looked after beard.
Yeah, I used to have one of them.
God beard, so to
etiquette-
speak.
beard etiquette is a thing.
And will do again someday.
He doesn't have tattoos. He is bald, but he doesn't have tattoos. Especially not fucking red ones. So as you sort of come up, are you just sort of standing around?
No, we're wanting to go up to the captain if he's free.
Okay,
If
so
he's around.
he's sort of finishing talking with one of the deckhands. He sort of runs off and starts picking up some of the
Hey.
bits and pieces from.
Hey, Louis, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
he
Louis,
starts
man.
going to pick up some of the
Where's
bits and
the name?
pieces from down at the bottom of the plank and bringing them up and things. And he turns and says, "Trust you found your accommodations to your liking."
It's very accommodating, thank you.
Very comfortable, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. How can I help, mates?
We have a couple of errands that we want to run before we go off. What pub are we to meet you at and when?
I thought you guys were just going to walk down with us.
We
I
just
mean,
have
that's
something
my
we-
plan.
What, we have something that we want
It
to
shouldn't
do
take.
first.
It shouldn't take very long. We'll probably be back, but just in case we're delayed.
I'll probably say the easiest thing to do is make sure you're here by nightfall. Once it starts getting dark, then we'll probably start heading down to the local drinking hole, and going in a big group will keep us nice and safe. We'll go and have a few drinks, have a bit of a laugh, come back.
Okay.
Sound good?
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Eliza sort of chimes in. It's like, don't worry, we'll look after you better than this lout will. He goes, Eliza, please.
Actually, I think I'll stick back if that's alright with you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Cass, we're gonna go off for a wander. You coming?
Where are we going?
Shop.
Let me get my sword.
Shopping.
Is there anything in particular you're going looking for? Might be able to direct you.
We just wanted to have like some extra.
Some provisions, fruit, preserved fruit for the journey.
I'm sure you have your own, but it's sometimes nice to have a little bit extra.
I mean, if you want extra, that's no business of mine. But I mean, we do have quite a lot of good foods. We tend to keep it well stocked. Keeps crew morale high.
Yeah, you might be alright then.
If you see anything
I
that
believe
appeals to me
them.
too much,
As I'm
As
walking
I
down.
said, our cleric tends
what
to
did you
some
throw me?
fresh fruit. She's actually got almost a bit of a garden going in her cabin.
you see anything that
She's
you
also the
need or
helper.
want, let me just grab it.
She actually has fresh fruit growing.
Oh, I'll
and
keep an eye out.
She keeps it. She keeps it fresh with her divine branches of magic, so to speak.
Right. As I'm walking down, I'm like, Carson, ask the man the question you've been longing to ask him.
Which question? What?
Chef.
Ah, yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Do you have a ship's cook by any chance?
I mean, if you want to speak about anyone's cooking, you probably want to go speak to the bosun Bradshaw. He's in charge of a lot of the provisioning,
Bradshaw.
a lot of our inventory, and he does a lot of the cooking.
Well, I mean, considering you mentioned the ship's well stocked, I'm sure I'll be striking a conversation up with him. I do a bit of cooking myself, so.
Right, well, the bald one with the beard over there, that's Eston Bradshaw. He's the bosun. Go speak to him.
Bald guy.
As I head back back in to get my swords.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just got out of my armor. God damn it!
You can stay here if you want to. You don't have to go.
What, and leave you unattended with that and
Yeah,
off?
but that means that you're also leaving Zach unattended. We're just going to the shops and back. So we're just popping out for milk.
A lot can happen when people pop to the shop.
Nah. I might go.
And you know what? Yeah, fine. Go ahead. Go.
I'm gonna go get a packet of cigarettes and never come back.
Don't fall for it. It's a parent trap. Yeah, go on, fucking do it.
Yeah, so as I
Right,
get down,
so-
like, I just got out my armor. I'm gonna stay.
Right, well, so if you're looking for some provisions and things, you probably want to pop down the market on the right-hand side of the thoroughfare, opposite direction to the guild houses that you might have come from.
Okay. Lastly, are you a gentleman that believes in courting?
Right, as you say that, I'm just like.
with a little bit of a curl at the side of his mouth, of a smile. He
I'm going to
says,
look at him and be like,
he says, when the occasion calls for it.
Okay. I mean, I'm not interested. I was just curious.
Ask him for a friend.
So, back in character.
Okay. Thanks, Carson. Are you ready? Let's go.
I'm certainly ready.
Okay, let's go.
It's like sort of with that whole exchange, Eliza sort of rolls her eyes and walks off to go and speak to someone else, anyone else not in that conversation.
I will actually go and talk to Eliza.
Okay. Back up the bow and carry on reading.
So you're going to the bow to read your book.
Yeah.
You guys are going to market.
yeah, just see what we can see.
To market. And you're going to go and speak to Eliza. Okay. So she's sort of smiling with an air of someone who's almost looking after a child. And she sort of speaks to one of the deckhands, just saying, telling him, make sure everything's packed away, get all the ropes tied off and what's so.
And if you don't do a bow knot, I'm going to throw you into the fucking drink, kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of air about it. And she sort of takes a moment, leans on the edge of the ship, and just watches out across the port for a moment as you sort of walk up.
Well,
Good day. Don't believe I caught your name.
Zach.
Eliza, although I gather you already knew that.
I did indeed. So I couldn't help but notice that mighty fine firearm you got there.
Aye. She's served me many a fight.
Don't suppose you happen to still have the old prints for her about, do you?
I don't. I actually made her pretty on the fly. Captain helped me get the materials together, and I just came up with what I fancied.
Well, if you ever get the hankering to build again, I'll need to make some ammo anyway, but you always do with a more experienced hand to help with it.
I mean, I can certainly give you a hand when I've got some downtime, but I was fairly happy with the build on this one.
Well, maybe at some point you could give me a hand trying to make one of my own.
Maybe I can.
It would just be kind of conversations like that.
Yeah. I say she sort of talks to you a little bit. She seems almost wistful in a way, sort of almost not entirely there. But she also doesn't seem to give away a lot about herself. She's sort of very cautious, very guarded. Not impolite by any standards. Just
Oh gee, it's like looking at a Snapchat gender filter.
Enough.
And then because
Wow.
that's very much like that.
But unlike me, she has a charisma of 15. So
I meant as in because Zach's very
Wait.
much guarded and like
Wait,
so.
what's
okay.
Cassus's charisma? In the 20s?
100.
We'd be dead by the sheer power of his dick if it was 100.
But it'll be in his pants!
Is that what charisma means to you?
I think
What, so he unzips and you just go,
Yeah, you actually see anything that's just light.
Yeah. That's what happens to you to a charisma 100.
I just want to point out, I'm the Dark Knight Cassus, not the White Knight Cassus. All right, you fuckers.
All right,
Oh,
the
so it's
darkness.
minuses
No, the darkness seeps out.
It's just the sheer power of no. I don't think my looks are that great, but I think I've got the gift of the gab. So charisma-wise, when it comes to sheer force of will and personality in conversation, I've got quite high. I'm just an ugly cunt.
Besides, you
No, you
besides,
can't
he
say
can't be a white
that.
knight. We're on Twitch, not Tumblr.
Oh! Burn.
I don't think you're ugly, dear.
Everyone's entitled to their
Yeah, you're about average.
You're the group mom. You're supposed to say things like that.
So you guys head off down the gangplank. You guys make your way back up the thoroughfare for the
Going.
fourth time. And you head back to where the turn off to the guild hall is and go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And down this thoroughfare, it smells a little bit less disgusting down here. It doesn't smell quite as bad.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few more smells of sort of fresh fruit and vegetables, a few other sort of things. So a few stalls of different fruits, different vegetables.
Right, I'm gonna buy me a bag of something like dried apricots or dried apple chunks or something like that, and then a jar of sauerkraut, and that's gonna do me.
How about some raisins?
Oh yeah, some dry fruit, and then something pickled to offset it.
So you're looking for basically. So you're going for some sort of sauerkraut, some dried apples, apricots, raisins.
Yeah.
Anything else that you're going for?
I'm looking.
A tribal blowgun.
Oh yeah, right next to the apricots, just over there.
If you get to the yogurts, you've gone too far.
You think
or a fighting net.
You think you'd want to go back down towards the main thoroughfare for those type of things? This is more produce type stuff here.
Oh, okay.
This is a normal grocery store, not Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking more for herbs and
things.
spices, things to complement different foods. And also I'm looking for maybe some jerky. As well. And if there's some particularly nice jerky, I'll use some of his money that he gave me earlier to get for him.
Yeah, all these things are fairly easy. There's nothing particularly exotic, rare,
pretty,
or
but
out
they're not
there
practical.
that's been asked for. So yeah, you pretty much find all that stuff, and you can get away with pretty much all the stuff that you've asked for a grand total of 5 gold.
Everything.
Yeah, for everything that you're pretty much looking for in a reasonable quantity.
Okay.
Can I find some chocolate here? Does chocolate exist?
Chocolate is a little bit rare.
It's gonna be exotic.
It's something of a luxury. You do find someone who has some, but one person serving will set you back 10 gold.
I want to find some for those particularly hellish days of the month for the ladies. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
one person serving. That's basically a bar of chocolate, like a galaxy-sized bar, functionally.
I will buy
That's
2.
10 gold.
I'll buy two.
It'll be very bitter and dry, but you've never tasted anything like it.
Yeah, I'm going to buy 2. Because then I will share it later.
And there is no discount on that, no
No,
matter
it's
how
okay.
well you haggle.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Well, obviously because you brought up chocolate, is there anything else that might be particularly rare that we might think is more common these days?
What about like Turkish delight or that kind of thing?
Or stuff that we can trade when we get to the other end,
Yeah.
like beads. No, the
Right, where are we going? Mardi Gras.
Get out your tits out!
the Vikings used to always trade beads. They wanted beads all the time.
Oh.
They normally wanted steel, gold, and beads.
Yeah, that's a point.
Still
Because were we told anything about Montai, like what they
Normally
what
gifts
they
for
normally
women.
produce over there? Because obviously they've got some of the finer. Well, we don't, we can guess based on the clothing.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just gonna
beads,
be quite
beads,
fancy,
beads,
but-
beads.
No.
No,
They found a
actually.
lot of,
Okay.
little
Where
barrels
could
of
I
them.
find
Because
like
Vikings were wearing
a
beads
journal
because they
or
could
like
show you
something
big
like that?
places.
As in just a blank,
blank.
empty journal.
Mm-hmm.
Without too much hassle when you go back to the main thoroughfare. You can probably find a vendor or two who've got a couple. Again, nothing
I don't want something fancy. No.
But it's functionally just a bound set of sheafs of parchment.
That's fine.
And that'll only set you back a gold piece as well. Mostly just because paper and parchment can be a little bit less common around a port
So
now.
that, and then maybe a quill and ink as well.
Yeah, they'll give you the quill link with it.
Okay.
That's
Thank
the
you.
point. I might
Pick it
get
up as well.
one as well.
Again, gold piece, and that includes your quill and ink.
Actually, no. I'll get 2. Fuck it.
2
Okay.
gold pieces.
So you've got that. I've got that. I'm gonna get 1 for Cass. Okay.
3 gold pieces.
So it's not for you. You at least mark off 3. So I've got the other ones. So 2 for you.
2
You
each.
mark off 2. You mark.
Yeah,
off
2, and then for the food, it was 5. So, did you want to split it? Or
Put
Yeah,
it on
we'll split
Group
it.
Kitty if there's.
so 2.5 each.
Hang on.
Yeah, because she is there with you getting the groceries.
I'll
and
take
things.
the food off the group money. It's fine.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's just easier. But the journal's your personal thing. So
Don't know if I'm Viking sides.
yeah. So I'll just take the food off
I
this.
like beads.
Okay. That's fine.
Stones. And sometimes glass, which is very
D&D accounting. That's why I've got a separate book for groups and what we spend our money on.
You found that my budgeting in D&D is better than real life.
Yes.
Currently, our money has been spent on healing potions,
Bullets.
food,
Food.
booze, food,
Booed.
bullets.
That's a thing.
I've got next to you guys' name that basically each of you owe 20 gold each for alcohol if you did it as a 3-way split. That's only if you share it equally amongst yourselves, or if
It'd
not,
be
you've
10 for you, and then
Fucking
What's
drink
that?
it.
you got the 10 free. So
No, yeah, I know, but
he's putting in 10 for what he would have paid for his.
yes, because
so then you've got 20
'Cause I'm nice like that.
gold and 30. So
So currently we've got with the food, booze and bullets we've got so far. It's just an NRA party.
I bought healing potions and stuff too.
First aid kit for when the NRA party goes wrong.
It's an NRA party. Of course
Okay.
it's gonna go
And I
wrong.
just fire my fists up in the air.
Back in character.
As I'm looking around, right, are prostitutes commonplace here?
Oh
no.
no! Don't draw! No! No!
it's a
Not
port
yet.
city.
It's too early for that kind of thing.
You don't really see them wandering about per se.
That's surprising.
You think based on general safety, a lot of them are probably in brothels to prevent being sort of attacked in the street, kind of thing.
Okay.
I'm almost expecting her to go up to just a random woman who looks a bit seedy and just go, "Excuse me, are you a hooker?"
Yes, are you a whore? Are you a whore? Are you a hoor?
Yeah.
Excuse me, do you spread your legs for money?
Are you one of these women of
Actually, I was thinking more going, "Hi, would you deflower my friend?"
I was thinking, are you a woman of negotiable virtue?
That would be something you'd say.
Wait till the night out. Okay, are we heading back? We've
Yeah.
got food. We've got supplies that we wanted. We didn't need anything else.
All things sort of considered, it only really takes you half an hour.
Okay. I'm about to go back.
Yeah, in that time.
Yeah, we come
I'll
back.
go to my room to get my sewing. I go sit on the
Yeah,
now
so
and
as,
listen to stuff going about.
yeah, as you've been
No,
going about,
tentacle
sort of
rod,
the
Not
captain.
tentacle rod. Tentacle rod.
The
not
captain's been
tentacle
obviously
rod.
making sure everything is
Tentacle rod.
packed away and everything's done. He does sort of conduct himself with a very
Put the
professional,
bag on my back.
if very suave air. He is very much the quintessential roguish captain that you'd expect, but he does make sure everything's done.
Does
Yeah.
he just ooze charisma?
Yeah.
And swag.
What a guy!
What a
Oh,
guy!
no.
Talk to me, Clipper. I'll be back for Christmas.
That was Ace Rimmer. We're lucky to be alive.
Hang on. Let's make it so camera can see. Ta-da!
That's not Ace Rimmer. That's just Rimmer.
That one's just Rimmer. We don't have Ace.
I'm not ashamed to say that of the 3, I got 3 different ones signed, one each for those 2 and one for me. I had the Ace Rimmer.
Ah.
because who met Chris Barry? We met Chris Barry.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Danny John Jules.
Yeah.
Ow!
He's so nice in person.
Yeah. Did you know that he was in Blade 2?
Wait,
Yes.
He was.
Yes. IMDb Blade 2. He was in
But
Blade
yeah,
2.
so you guys make your way back to the ship, I take it?
Yes.
It's the cat.
Yep.
Yeah, so you make your way back to the ship. All things considered, travel and shopping time, it only sort of takes you 3/4 of an hour from leaving the ship. It's really not that long. You end up doing quite a lot and just sort of staring
I'm just
at
doing
the
my
captain a lot.
needlepoint. Yeah.
Oh.
Totally not
Staring
paying
at that.
attention to the captain at all.
While waiting, I'll be sharpening my knife.
Roll me a perception. That's just that.
So that is 19.
You swear at one point. He sort of looks your way, gives you a very subtle, suggestive wink, and goes about his business.
Thank you.
Sort of,
Acknowledgement.
So barely anything that most people would notice, but enough that he knows that you were looking. He gave you a wink and went back to business as usual.
Can I look at shop arts?
And Storymaker. And
Zach, are you on
And Death and
top
Paradise.
deck or?
Yeah, so you guys get back. She's sat up on the bow doing some sewing. What are you doing at this point on top deck? Because you probably wouldn't have been talking about 3/4 of an hour. She probably would have gone back and done some more.
No, probably just staring at the night sky.
It's daytime.
Yeah, it's still there.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Soon it will be
Waiting for the
night.
sunset.
Yeah, it's sort of mid to late afternoon at the moment.
Okay, just leaning against one of the masts, just watching the sea.
Right.
I'll be walking. Daffodil around the ship to get her used to being on the ship and making sure that she behaves.
So as you are all getting back, obviously she's up and bow. He doesn't think. The captain has clearly been below deck, and he's come up, and almost at his heel is a fairly large cat. Anyone with nature trained can roll it.
Oh.
Nope.
Yes.
Not trained.
7. No.
It's not the most common of things, but you have actually seen about these before. It's a caracal. It's a fairly large caracal.
What is a caracal?
It's a type of cat.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's not a domesticated cat, really.
Oh, like one of those semi-wild.
Yeah, they're the ones that have like the pointy ear tufts,
Okay.
and they're fairly good hunters.
Yeah.
Oh, them! I thought they were lynx. Oh wow. That's
No.
cool.
But yeah, so it's a fairly large one of those.
Yes. Well, it's a good job I have a fairly large dog then.
As I see the cat, I go. And I see you guys coming. I'm like, Mel, Mel,
Yeah.
how is this going to work if I get furry?
Don't try and eat it.
So like the cat sort of wanders over to where Eliza is, who's currently tying
I go
off.
back to.
She's tying off one of the ropes and things, and the caracal sort of rubs itself up her leg. She gives it a stroke. Then sort of the caracal sort of has a bit of a sniff and starts coming over to where you are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna move it out of the way because animals instantly dislike me. So
Not will do much good, but I will try. I'll try and stop my dog from running. Although if my dog wants to run, there is nothing I can do about it.
As I see
I'll
the
tell her to sit.
cat coming
Sit.
over, I'm going to put my needle point down, put my needle away, and wait.
So it comes
See
up
how
and
this goes.
has sort of a bit of a nose and a sniff. Almost not sure what to make of you.
So I'll put my hand out. So
Okay, roll me animal handling.
Whoa.
Okay.
Number one.
So
Number
sort
one.
of, as you're sort of showing that you're not a threat, sort of comes a bit closer, lets you stroke it, and then once it sort of realises you're being very friendly, it sort of rubs its head into your hand.
well, I'm comfortable, so I'm gonna see if she
She.
gets comfortable on my leg, and then just carry on.
Well, she sort of nuzzles you a bit, sort of put scent on in the way they do with their faces, and then sort of wanders up.
If the cat comes near me, I'm going to try and give it a little pet.
Based on sort of the interactions, you have the feeling the cat has the absolute run of the ship, but generally they will.
Cool.
Mainly for the rat hunting and such.
It'll be okay.
Oh, it's okay. I'm just going to avoid it. It'll be fine.
It's like, oh, what an adorable cat.
Oh. A Newfoundland with a cat.
Ah.
Yeah, Zach's going. It's like, hey, Zach,
Yeah?
got your present.
What do you get me?
Yeah, so I wander over to you, and it's just like, so I got you this, and I hand you, a leather-bound journal, with ink. So that might come in useful, when, I don't know, you're drawing your designs or writing about stuff,
Another example of just how big
Otherwise,
my dog
this
is.
this stuff is for you.
Oh.
I understand this jerky is fairly nice, so.
So it is like a horse for my cat.
You have done well, my friend.
And just because it didn't cost that much in the end, you can have the money back.
Okay.
I did the same thing,
Thank you
Cass.
muchly.
I got you a journal and some kind of thing. Maybe if you could do some writing over some of the journeys
Thank you.
and stuff as we're here. And then I have some other things which I will open below deck.
Okay.
Should we take a past supplies downstairs?
No, yeah, probably a good idea.
Downstairs. We wander off downstairs.
Yeah, I'll make sure that my dog that the daffodil isn't going to freak out at the ship's cat.
Would you say that Daffodil's quite a docile, placid dog, or would you say?
They're draft dogs, and I sort of she's used to being around horses and mules and other animals.
Fairly docile.
Yeah. So if she's okay with other animals, then I don't imagine she'd be likely to go after the cat. The caracal largely ignores it as though it's beneath it.
As cats will want to do.
Yeah.
Yes. But based on what the captain said, you think, again, best not to let your dog go after rats, because you think that sort of might be part of the cat's territorial thing.
Yeah. Again, from what I know about Newfoundlands, they are bred as work dogs, not as hunters.
Yeah, that's fine. So you
Hence
reckon
why it pulls me
should be
around.
okay. But yeah, so you go about putting all your groceries and goods away.
I show you the chocolate. I haven't had that in so long. It's for the half times and things. And when people are sad.
Are you intending on going and speaking to the bosun?
Yeah.
And they're like,
And it's like, yeah, but if he's still around.
yes.
So I take it. Is he on top deck or
Not
would he
They
be-
got some raisins.
I will go and find him.
Okay, so you head below deck,
Like, you know how to borrow chocolate,
and
take
you
like
go
corners,
down to
yes,
the
little
sort of
bit.
living area. You don't see any immediately obvious areas that look like it might be set up for any kind of cooking. So you you have a look down another deck, and you find what looks like a cooking space, and sort of pantry and such, and you do find the bosun in there.
Yeah, it's like, oh. Yeah. I'll just I'll knock on the door, just because being polite.
I bet they
Not
don't
enter.
make good house.
Like, Bosun Bradshaw.
I bet they don't make good house
Why?
in real life. They're too
Yeah, it's like my
name's
name's Carson. I was just wondering if you wouldn't mind if I helped you out when it comes to cooking around the ship.
I mean, are you going to ask from the door, or are you going to walk in?
Sorry, I'll walk in.
So he's there, sort of. It looks like he's washing up some of the potatoes and things in there, and a few other vegetables and things.
So,
you want to give us a hand with the cooking, then, do you?
yes, I'd certainly like to broaden my horizons when it comes to learning new things. I quite like cooking, and yeah, I'd certainly like to learn more.
Alright, well, if you want to have a look at what we've got in the pantry, see what you think. We've got about 4 months of rations in there. Don't even bother trying to look for fruit. That's all up with the helmswoman. She looks after that. She brings it all down when we need it. Don't know how she keeps it so fresh, but I'm not magic inclined.
No, that's fair enough. I certainly was told there was plenty of provisions on the ship.
Yeah, well, we keep it well stocked. Again, Captain likes to keep morale up. Boy! He sort of shouts. Door opens and the boy sort of comes
Boy,
in.
he slings his axe, no?
And the captain sort of comes in and goes, yes, bosun? He's like, go and fetch some more vegetables. He's like, alright, I'll go to the second pantry then. And he buggers off as you're sort of talking. Right, well, I've a look at the pantry. Second pantry's across the way in the next room. Feel free to have a look. Plenty of provisions. Keep us going for a while.
No. I take it you won't be preparing a meal this evening, because we're heading out to wherever we're going.
I'll be preparing something for Boyley.
Oh, well, in that case, if you don't mind, I'll stay and help you.
You my guess.
No, very well. So I'll start moseying around, having a look at the pantry.
I was just suddenly hear a certain Disney song in their head when he said that.
No.
No, mate.
Okay.
But yeah,
I'm intrigued.
So the cabin boy is sort of in and out helping with things. And after a little bit of time, sort of 10 minutes or so, not long, he sort of says, right, go up and see if the captain needs anything. He goes, yes sir, and buggers off. While you guys are back and sort of on deck, Captain Everett comes over and says, right mates, one other order of business that I forgot before, because excitement of all the bits and pieces. Have you guys got your writ of travel there?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I? Sorry, I need to officiate and all that.
Okay. I leave my bag. I don't do this. I get it. I hand it over.
So he flips it open, as a look, reads everything across, goes, flips up one of the rings on his finger, pulls out a small inkwell, puts it on what's underneath the ring. He puts a seal at the bottom of it. He says, right, folds it up. He goes, where's the cabin boy? Swale! And at that point, he comes out of the door.
Transitioning!
Right? And he comes up, Captain, good timing? He goes, aye mate, it is. Right, get that over to the Harbour Master's office, get it ratified, bring it back, and give it to this lovely lady here. And he goes, yes sir, Captain. Says, he'll only be about 10 minutes or so, he's not long. It's good, lad.
You are the first person that has ever called me lovely. Thank you.
All ladies are lovely, be rude not to say so.
That still is very nice of you to say. Thank you.
Eliza from halfway over the thing goes, don't call me lovely. Not to your face, you bitch. She goes, fucking scoundrel. Goes back to what she was doing.
Such uncouth language. I see that we're truly going to be at sea like this. Okay. While we are on board, I have never been on the sea and sailed before. Would you teach me what the different things do and how the boat works? Please. During your time, I don't want to intrude on your duties.
I can certainly help give you a little bit of a working knowledge.
Thank you.
I would definitely say, if you get the chance to, have a word with Yargog. He's got a few things to teach you about ships.
The orc. Wait.
Aye.
Wait. The shipwright.
Aye.
Okay.
Yargog the shipwright.
We haven't seen him yet.
Okay.
At that point, you in fact, everybody roll me an insight who is up on deck.
So all except me.
13.
8. I'm not rolling very good today.
I was not prepared to need to roll dice again so quickly.
4. I'm very insightful.
Insight is 17.
Okay. Most of you don't notice, funnily enough, but you two notice that as he says, "Aye, Yargog the shipwright." A lot of the other crew members have a little bit of a smirk going on at the moment. Not a nasty smirk, but almost like a she's gonna have a shock when she meets him type smile. Again, nothing vindictive. They just think it'll be a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
So kind of like when we did it. Oh, you'll see.
That sounds like fun. I'm looking forward to talking to him.
Aye, I'm sure it'll be an interesting meeting.
Okay.
Anyway, got a few more bits to take care of. Shan't be long till we look at going off and having a drink.
Okay.
And I think we're going to leave it there.
I was just about to say one thing.
Okay. So
One thing.
Do you think armour and weapons will be necessary?
always take them when you're off the ship.
Okay.
Well,
As I put my thing away.
I
I'll
always
get
take
ready.
it when you're off the
In that-
ship while I'm probably handling a carrot
in
or
that-
something.
over my nice clothes, well, instead of my nice clothes, I will put on my my battered leather travelling jerkin, which doubles as my leather armour, and
I'm
then
gonna go
and
put
have
my armour on.
the bag with the rod in it on my back.
the inconspicuous rod.
But yes, but I'll leave the crossbow behind.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you can take it if you want to.
Yeah, I suppose it's as big as me.
So so apart from the update at the time from Luman, so thank you very much. We had Goro 187. You should all denounce your god DM for if he does not give you into your demands, his universe becomes an empty void.
No, it means that we've got to work for it and actually give a crap.
Yeah.
I mean, he's technically not wrong.
But yeah, so thank you for the input on that one. But yeah, it's a shame that you possibly got here towards the end. But yeah, so another session, another setup session. So for the all out party, that we will be having next week.
What's the best that can happen?
Bar brawl. I mean, I'm not hoping for that.
Burn down the tavern.
No, that's too far.
No, we're gonna go from the mended drum back to the broken drum, I believe.
Yay!
Or is it a steady progress? Progress to the mended to fractured to
Well, no, for a while
split.
it was just the drum.
Yeah, and then it was the broken drum, and then it was the mended drum.
And
All the
hopefully
drums.
we can see some cheap, nasty ladies of the night.
Oh, what is your obsession with wanting to deflower? Well, sorry, deflower
She
me.
wants to be the only virgin on this group.
Why do you want a cheap, nasty one? Why don't you want
I
to get one of
don't,
the
I
concubines that
don't
Gareth
want
suggested?
to get one
Oh,
to
yeah,
deflower
have a
him. I
whip
just want
round.
to see one so I can loudly exclaim through a room full of people, "Look, Carson, that's what a prostitute is."
Look, that's a slag.
Oh wait, that's your mum.
Oh, that would be an interesting development. It's like, mother.
What are you doing here?
As she sat on the lap of some,
As you slap the sailor's cock out her mouth.
No.
Wait, are we sailor?
Goodbye. Say goodbye, Merlan.
Thank you very much, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. So, me and Cassus will be streaming God of War. We'll be continuing where we left off, and then we'll be continuing here, here D&D next Tuesday. So at least I hope to see some of you next time.
Woo! The unsubtle inspiration for my bosun.
Bye for now.
Bye.